Hmm. Okay, just waiting for a friend of mine to show up and see what happens from there.
Hey, dude.
Ain't
What's up?
not much. I just thought I would try this out to see if we could get it to work, and it looks like I did.
Hey, look, it's working. That's nice.
Yeah, I think it is. I have the thing. It says it's broadcast, and I've no idea if it's gone to YouTube or not because I checked and it didn't show up. But oh well. So yeah, this is the first one. I think. Oh, this is more like a test. So what do you want to talk about?
I don't really have much to talk about, dude. I'm kind of also multitasking.
Oh, what are you working on?
Yeah, just some household chores. That's all. Nothing
Uh,
major. Oh, I'm also doing some script writing on the side.
yeah. How's that going?
Going great. I'm working on a Ninja Turtles crossover with Dragon Ball. I know, sounds like a weird crossover, but I'm gonna have some fun with this.
uh, yeah, I just got bored, so I thought I would try this. Like I didn't have anything planned. Like I said, I was like from now on, I think I'll write down subjects to talk about if I can think of any.
Mm.
But I can't remember if I heard you say anything. But did you hear about the Red Sonja movie they're working on?
The Red Sun movie?
Sonya.
Oh, yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, what do you think?
I don't know. I watched the old ones like years ago. I mean, I was not the biggest fan, but it was awesome for what it was. I mean, it's good they're making a reboot, but they're making a reboot for everything these days.
Yeah, that is the sad part. But yeah, I never saw the original Red Sonja movie. How was it in your opinion?
Oh, very action packed, very dramatic, very tragic, very tension. Like the tension was high. Like, very good movie.
Uh,
Well, should I say movie? Because I'm pretty sure there's been like a lot of them, like maybe at least two or three.
yeah, I haven't seen it. Like, I know nothing about Red Sonja. I know Red Sonja is kind of like based on a character from Conan the Barbarian, but that's about it.
Yeah, basically the female Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah, but a redhead and hot and possibly not overrated.
And hey, look at it. In this reboot, they didn't sacrifice the redheads.
Yeah, I said this. Yeah, I said this on Twitter, and a buddy of mine responded. I said, "Finally, they spared a redhead." My buddy goes, "For now,"
For now.
and it's like, yeah, he's not wrong. Think about it. How often does this happen?
Well, if I remember correctly, wasn't it that the studio originally was going to pull a diversity thing, but then last minute they decided to stay true to the source material of the design?
More like the actress backed out. She had a scheduling conflict.
Oh,
And so yeah, then they got this new actress. And what has me excited is who they have directing it. MJ Bassett, I think he did the Solomon Kane movie. So
oh, so you got something to be excited about.
could be good, could be bad. I'm definitely more interested in seeing it now than I would be with say a red than that Pinocchio movie.
Hey, dude, you know what you should do? You should watch the one of some of the earlier Red Sonja movies before you see this one, so that you'll be more familiar with it.
Uh, yeah, yeah, May. I think I'd rather read the comics. It's just I have no idea which ones are good and which ones are bad.
You could read the comics too; that works as well.
Yeah, I'm more of a comic guy and a book guy.
Okay.
Like I like Red Hood, the comics, but I have no interest in seeing the animated movie, mostly because I've seen enough clips of it to know how it goes.
It's still a masterpiece of a movie.
Yeah, it's pretty good from what I've seen. And I want to make well, I had no idea if this just went to YouTube or not, but fuck it. Um, yeah, it should be interesting. I'm just waiting to see the trailer for it. That's what I want to see what they have in store.
Oh. Yeah, well, you just gotta wait and see. I think this project may take a while. Like, I don't know when the movie's gonna be released. It'll probably be a year.
Or two. Yeah, you know what is sad though? We are getting a Red Sonja movie, but we are not getting an Elric Imelda Benet movie. That sucks.
Mm,
We almost
maybe
got
we
a
should
TV
do one.
show of it though, but then they backed out because they said it's too much like The Witcher.
Oh wow. I
Yeah,
bet you don't. I bet you don't feel so good about that, do you?
how do I put this into words? It may, knowing what I now know about The Witcher plagiarism, it makes me want to puke.
Mm,
Like I feel like I have no words. My disappointment is immeasurable,
yeah.
and my day was ruined when I learned that.
Oh.
So I'm like that Popeyes guy kid.
Pluto, olive oil, Popeye.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh well, it is what it is. Hopefully in the future. The good news they're making an Elric game.
No, good. That's good.
Yeah,
I was gonna
unfortunately it's
say,
on
dude, maybe
PC.
you should make an Elric movie.
Me? No, I'm a comic guy, not a movie guy.
Not a movie guy. Come on, dude. You watch Blazing Saddles.
For one reason, it was funny.
Yeah, of course, dude. Movies are great. Just because you like comics, you don't have to reject movies. You could like both, like me.
Yeah, this is true. I wonder what this button does.
So is this like on your YouTube channel, or is this just like not a video?
I have no idea. It says 0 people are watching, but then again, people barely watch my videos anyway. And this is the first time I've done this.
Oh, so this is consistency then.
Yeah, let me see what the share button does.
You should probably send the link to Keegan because he'll be excited. He always wanted to do one of these.
Okay, let me try. You can still hear me?
Yeah, of course.
All right, good. Let me see.
All right, dude. I'll be on mute for a bit. I gotta go take care of something.
All right, doing a live stream. All right, I'm back. So yeah, for anyone who actually comes onto this list, yeah, they're making a Red Sonja movie, and I am just thinking to myself, please don't let them fuck this up. It's a bit like the fact Netflix is making a Bioshock show. All I can think is they're probably gonna fuck it up, but I can at least hope. I can at least hope. And then I remembered, wait a minute, this is Netflix. The people who made fucking up into an art form. Setting. And yeah, I'm just wanting to see how it goes. And now we're waiting for another guy to show up. Hopefully this doesn't fuck up anything. Ah, crap. And I was hoping Keegan might show up on here, but he's a late sleeper. I hear see that episode of Ed, Edd and Eddie where Eddie's like, he looks so peaceful. Ed, oh Ed, wake up, Goldilocks. It's about like that.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Oh, good, you're back. Yeah, that's how I imagine Keegan is when he's asleep.
Oh man, I mean, he seemed awake a while ago. Like I think I saw him tweet. So maybe he'll respond. Just watch out for it.
Yeah, I just sent him one. I sent him one at 1:39. Just waiting to hear back from him. Of course, if I show up, then I'll barely be able to talk. Oh no, what have I done? Anyway. Yeah, that's Keegan, ladies and gentlemen. Wow, someone is watching. Well, you poor SOB. Yeah, I'm still waiting for someone else to show up, so you might want to, I don't know, get a cigarette and light one. Huh. Oh, a associate of associates showed up. Oh, and it's Amy. So, yeah, and we're just waiting for someone else to show up because Dan's doing something. So, hopefully, Keegan will show up. At least I'll have someone to talk to with some consistency. Consistency. I swear to God, English is my first language. So, yeah, until then, I guess I'll just ramble. If you're a Knicks fan, I feel sorry for you. Much like Ed Bundy from Married with Children, some people think I'm like, yeah, you probably shouldn't. And the internet is a bitch. And yeah, yep. So yeah, smoke them if you got them, because it's going to be a long way apparently. And Bats here is doing something, so I'm kind of bored. Like, not since the Olympics have I been this bored.
What you bored for, champ?
There's so many reasons. On the bright side, two people are watching. One of them and I think one of them is someone I know.
Oh, good for you.
Yeah, it's Amy Justine Brooks.
Anime Steam Love.
What?
Anime Steam Love? Is that what you said?
No, her name's Amy Justine LaRoux.
I know.
She's someone I know.
I'm just messing with you. Just messing with you, dude.
Oh, damn it. You're not doing the joking tone, so I can't tell.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's the joke.
LaRue. It's LaRue. Okay, thanks, Amy.
You can't tell. That's the joke.
Well, you normally have a joking tone. I did not know.
Oh, I could turn it on and off, dude, and really freak you out.
No, you freaked me out already. You know stuff I probably would never know.
Fair enough.
Like, what's a good example? You know more Star Wars than I do, and that's kind of scary.
That's scary.
Yes, there's a reason why I find Ryan Kennel somewhat creepy.
Seriously? Dude, I'm a geek. It's what I do. I'm a geek.
No, I'm not serious. God.
Yeah. Actually, a really creepy story is that my family told me that when I was a kid, I found immense pleasure from self-pain. Very interesting. Very intriguing. On some level, I think they're right because I still feel some type of liveliness from pain.
Okay. I hope you're joking because you did just say that on a YouTube stream.
It is the truth, though.
Okay.
Besides, you don't want to hear jokes from me. I suck at humor. Like, really.
No, you have good jokes. Like, you don't say weird ones that don't connect. Like, there's the one I always go to is, what's the difference between Christopher Walken?
Christopher Reeves?
Yeah, until I knew the story of Christopher Reeves, I never got that joke.
Oh, I got the joke. It's still funny to this day. Although I do feel bad for Christopher Reeves. That was pretty sad.
Yeah, and he's dead now.
I know.
He's deader than an Amy Schuh comedy special.
Yep.
And yep. Here's the thing, like, you're not the weirdest person I've met online. The weirdest one is actually one of my favorite ones.
Oh, who would that be? Keegan?
Trouble Cat. Like, he has some very funny takes.
Interesting.
Yeah, you should hear the stuff he says. It has me going, I don't know how to respond to that. I do not know how to respond to that.
Yeah. All right, 1 second, Nate. I'll be right back.
All right.
We'll be right back after these messages.
Much better. So, and if you're still in here, how are you doing? Actually. Right. I'm just going to see if I can get Troubled Cat on here. It just takes a while for him to respond. So it took him 2 minutes to respond. Yeah. Yeah, frick it. Well, damn, it's taking a while. Not since. No joke to make there. Oh, 2 people are on here now. The other guy who just joined, welcome. I'm just waiting for a friend of mine to come back on. So, Yes, wait a bit. He should be back on any second.
You okay over there, pal?
Oh, yeah, I was waiting for you to come back. I sent a link to Troubled Cat to see if he wanted to come on.
Troubled cat?
Yeah, he's the one that I met Amy through. He's from South Africa. Really interesting guy to talk to.
Dude, you should have went for troubled dog. Dogs are better.
No, I think Troubled Cat kind of matches his personality.
Who knows?
Yeah, and I'm just waiting to see if he'll show up because I asked him if he wanted to, and he asked if it was a YouTube live stream. Then I sent him a link. So anyway, yeah, it's to kill some time. That stuff you're working on, how's it going?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Oh, going good so far. It's going to take a couple drafts, but I'll get there.
I mean, how many drafts do you think it takes usually?
Well, standard procedure is like 3 or 4 drafts, but if I'm on a timetable, like maybe 2 or 3 drafts.
Oh, 2 or 3. Yeah, I just write it down as a rough draft and edit it from there.
I see. Hey, that's better than what Ryan Johnson does. He just makes 1 draft.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think you've mentioned that to me in Osteophile. Like, it's like you never do just the 1 draft. That sounds like a very bad idea.
Dude, that's the one thing my film teacher told our class never to do. Never just do 1 draft. That's the ultimate mistake of filmmaking.
I thought the ultimate mistake of filmmaking was going to film school.
Shut up. Film school's great.
I mean, I would have gone if there's just one problem. It probably would have required me to jump through hoops. And I ain't no circus performer. I got sick of doing that.
You actually considered start having a film career?
No. I was open to doing different stuff.
Oh. So you were considering film school?
Oh no, if you brought it up, I would consider it. Like you would just have to like sell it to me. So like I've done history, I've done art, I've done speaking. Like I did a myriad of class. One time I was going for an English major, but then I kind of backed out. Mostly because the teacher like turned me off of the subject. Shocker.
Now that's hilarious.
I'm sorry, what?
I said, now that's hilarious.
Yeah. Well, he was I'm pretty sure he was a never Trumper.
A never Trumper? What's that?
Imagine someone who hates Trump so much they deny reason and logic like it's alimony.
Ah, I see. I get it now, Nathan. You know, it's like in order to defeat your opponents, you need to trump them. But if you're a never Trumper, you can never trump your opponents, which means that you'll forever lose the ancient battle of good and evil.
Yep.
Or something like that.
Hey, Trolled Cat's here. Yeah, I know. I mean, I think. Oh, hey, Trolled Cat. I know. I mean, I think Trump is awesome too. He's very funny. Anyway, Dan, this is Troubled Cat. He's a. Well, I like to think of him as a friend. He's like, as I've mentioned, one of the 3 most interesting guys I've met through the internet.
Well, I never thought someone would say that about me.
I'm sorry, what?
No. I said I didn't think someone would describe me like that ever.
Trolled Cat, this is Dan. He's a guy I've met through Twitter chat. Film student, unfortunately.
I'm a film student, yes, and I take full pride in it, asshole.
At least he didn't come out left wing, so we should be happy about that.
Oh, he's apolitical. He has no side.
Well, that's better than being a progressive.
Oh yeah. Actually, I've met progressives through him. No, they weren't that bad. So yeah, we're just doing like random conversations. This is like a test thing for me using the StreamYard. I've never done this before. This is like just a test. So we're just talking about random subjects. So anything you want to talk about?
Nothing comes to mind. Oh wait, no. The whole Ring of Power situation. an Amazon insider basically said if the if the show fails, then Amazon will go ahead with the streaming service.
Oh, well, he said it. He said if it fails, they'll still go along with it.
Yes,
Oh
Nate.
no,
The fates of Rings of Power is in the balance. If it falls apart, then Amazon's gonna have to reconsider streaming.
Oh god, yeah. Like I look at that as to say, like I kind of thought it was going to be a goat fuck already. All I can say is, yeah, no, I should probably be doing the "F you I was right" dance.
Honestly, you know what, Nathan? Normally I'd be like, "What are you doing?" But you know what? No, I'm happy because they fucked with a dead man's legacy. So honestly, they deserve it.
Yeah, they deserve whatever happens. Like I look at this like a down. It's like the Hindenburg footage. It's morbid, masochistic, but you can't look away.
I'm gonna
It's like
have to
what?
look away, or I can't eat.
I'm sorry, what?
no, he said he has to look away or he can't eat.
Oh, I could probably watch that thing and still eat. Like, there's a very big disconnect between me and stuff I see.
Yeah, because you're a sadist.
I'm not a sadist. I'm a borderline sadist. Big difference.
What's the difference?
Let me think. I probably have no problem fantasizing about doing it, but here's the thing. It has to be a very awful person. And also I can't really do that to an actual person. I would never do that. That'd be a waste of my time and a life sentence.
Hey, dude, you could always be like the Joker and Mask of the Phantasm. You could always just, escape every death experience in the DCAU. Just escape every near to death experience. You'll be just fine.
Or you can be Ezra Miller.
Oh yeah, that too.
Yeah. So speaking of Rings of Power, what are your guys' thoughts on the situation overall?
I expected it. Usually, when it comes to like a situation of like a massive IP, if you hand it over to the fan 3 generations, it will get fucked over, and that happened with the grandchildren.
Yeah, it's like Common Posh said. He said after the 3rd generation, it's all downhill.
Yeah, you can't blame it on generations. It's modern wokeness that's to blame.
No, in a way,
No, it's not. It's a combination of the two, because at the end of the day, on the one hand, like obviously it's Amazon. Jeff Bezos speaks the preferred speak, so obviously he'll go ahead with the wokeness and stuff. But then it's also the fact that his token grandchildren, should be able to tell, okay, you know what? Does Amazon have a track record of producing good shows? No, they don't. Should we be selling the IP to them? No, we shouldn't. But the fact is, it's because they got so much money from it. They were like, oh no, let's just sell. We don't care whether or not they respect the family's legacy.
I mean, not all Amazon shows are bad.
Yeah, but how many of them are good? Like the only good one I can name is the Reacher one.
Yeah, there are others too.
Okay, look at Rings of Power.
And
I remember seeing Shadiversity talk about it, and I thought, wow, this is a prelude to what they're going to do to the Lord of the Rings. Like, oh my god. Like, I feel like Alex Jones. No, not Alex Jones. I'm like the guy who's like aware of Alex Jones, watches him, sees him warning people, and no one's listening. I feel like that guy. I'm like the guy who sees the carnage coming.
Oh, so you know what that makes you, Nathan?
What?
That makes you the question. Get it?
Oh god.
Dude,
the question.
Basically like him. Take the vigilante superhero stuff out, and you're basically this uber conspiracy guy like me.
By the way, Kat, Amy asked a question. She was asking if you're Twitter again. Are you on Twitter again?
Amy.
Oh, yeah.
Me and Amy. I don't speak to Amy anymore because of a whole lot of situations.
Oh, that's a shame.
I'm seeing flashbacks.
Yeah, no, the one thing, it's like, first of all, don't talk about me in a private group chat and then only mention that you're doing so after people attack me. And then also, don't let me find out the fact that you record people's private conversations.
Flashback time.
I thought you were talking about the time me and Culture got into it.
Oh, culture?
Yeah,
Nah. Nah, dude. Whatever. Like, you guys have different political opinions. It was only bound to happen.
this is true. This is true. Yeah, yeah, and all I did was make a joke about Lincoln at Lincoln's expense.
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? No offense, Nathan, but while you two are going on and on about which politics are better and who's great and who's horrible, in the end, it all doesn't matter.
Kind of, sort of, half and
Okay,
half.
maybe on some level. Maybe on some level,
Nisha,
maybe on some level of the limits of the grounded of realism, I guess, in our perception of what we call the world. But in the vastness of the omniverse, none of it matters.
Oh
All
God,
that
here
matters
goes
is
the
the
omniverse
spiritual
again.
battle between good and evil.
Oh God.
I don't know if he reminds me of the Legend of Zero, like before you found God, or not.
Nathan, you're basically Stephen Strange. I'm the ancient one in Doctor Strange. I'm just flinging your ass across the
Oh God.
multiverse, just showing you how meaningless your ideas of the Earth is, and then I
Yeah,
bring
he's a
you right
weirdo.
back down
Yeah, I
to the
should have
living
warned you
world.
ahead of time. He is a weirdo.
It's
Oh
gonna
no,
be so
listen, it's
hilarious.
fine. I don't have an issue with him being a weirdo. I'm somewhat of a perv.
Oh yeah.
so
Wait,
I,
Zero found
so
God? That's news to me.
oh yeah, no, oh God, like I didn't like
Wait,
if you
we're talking about Zero,
notice,
right? Zero?
yeah,
Didn't he say he was Christian?
he was an atheist at first, and then after engaging with a lot of philosophies, like now I found God, but he
He
kind of became
found.
like,
He
yeah,
found the ways of the Force.
Oh
yeah, but the thing
God.
is, if you ask him the question, it's like, okay, so how do you know God is real? It's like, I won't answer you. I don't need to answer you. I just know. But that is usually the case. It's when an atheist suddenly finds God, they lose that ability to debate things with you.
Uh, oh yeah, like at least unlike Sam Harris, he at least strikes me as an honest person. Like Sam Harris, I don't
Uh,
get that feeling from.
no, Sam Harris, stop rubbing against the laptop, cat.
I'm
Sam
sorry,
Harris,
what?
unfortunately. Oh no! I was shouting my cat. She's rubbing herself against my laptop, and she's like rubbing herself. It's that she's gonna actually close the laptop.
Uh,
Sam Harris he's certainly something, especially after his interview on trigonometry, where it's like, I wouldn't care if Hunter Biden had dead children in his basement if it meant keeping Trump out of office.
wow. Yeah, I heard that and I thought, what the frick? And I almost confused him for someone else at first. Like I thought he was Sam Hyde initially. Then I thought, oh wait, no, that's Sam Harris, the philosopher.
Oh, but the other best news that came out, I don't know if it was this week or so, was Zuckerberg basically like, yeah, no, the FBI said we should censor the Biden laptop story, and everyone's like,
What on
is
Joe Rogan, right?
yeah. And basically, this has been most people's reaction. It's like, is the FBI a evil organization? And I'm like, and I'm sitting there and I'm just like, wow, guys, I know people are slow, but this is just pathetic.
Yeah, that wasn't too super. Like, here's the funny thing about Facebook: they used to be the kind who would tell the government where to stick it, or at least I like to think they were. And I've never liked them. For the record, I've never liked Facebook, but I used to think they used to be the kind of people who would tell the government where to stick it. Now they're the kind who bend over and tell the government where to stick it.
Oh, yeah, no, the reason for that is because Zuckerberg has been making one bad financial decision after the other. So he needs the government subsidies. That's why he's so willing to work with the government.
It's very simple, Nathan. The Illuminati got to him. They know that he can't
Uh,
defeat them this
oh,
time.
you and the Illuminati. God dang
The
it.
Illuminati will get to us all, Nathan. We must face them and fight and defeat them before they take over everything.
Yeah, for some reason you strike me as a LARPer sometimes.
As a what?
LARPer.
Oh, the irony is I haven't done that in years. Like I'm talking since like maybe 6 or 7.
Wow. Yeah, I never did that. I always looked at it like I would always joke about it. I'd be like, it's all fun and games. So the next thing you know, you're living in your mother's basement, dressing up and doing weird shit.
Yeah, it's a
I
good
used
thing
to
that
joke
didn't
about
happen to
that.
me.
I'm sorry, what?
I said that's a good thing it didn't happen to me. I don't live with my parents anymore.
Oh, but you could
Oh
still
no,
end up doing weird things and dress it
Yeah, of
up.
course.
yeah, but at the time I knew nothing about like cosplay and all that. I just thought it was weird, and I would make jokes about it. I learned a bit more since then, so I'm kind of calmer on the subject.
Yeah, I thought it was cool, and I still make jokes about it.
Yeah, I think the first time I saw it was like, do either of you watch Conan O'Brien?
Oh yeah.
Nope. But I think it's
Hey,
probably because I live in South Africa.
remember Nathan, where Conan O'Brien was like beating up some larbers or something? It was like a funny skit.
Yeah, like didn't they have Batman dressed as a Wookiee?
No. They were like doing fantasy. They all had like these props and they were all LARPing and he just showed up in the middle of it and they started attacking him. So he just started beating them up. But all he had was his suit and his bare hands. And the joke was that Conan was unstoppable.
Yep, that's Conan O'Brien for you. He is weird.
Oh yes. He is weird. But the real question is, Nathan, what is your perception of reality?
My perception is
Okay, Bayonetta.
I'm sorry, what?
Oh no, I said to the bad kid, I was like, okay, Bayonetta, because that's the opening line whenever you play the game, is that you'll
Oh,
see in universe of perception and reality, that kind of thing.
oh, whenever he gets like this, it reminds me of like like I remember when I was in high school, there were video games like We See the Truth, the whole truth. Like it was always like you would see it in Call of Duty, the Wanted movie. It's always weird. I don't know why they were doing that back then.
Nathan,
They were
it's that
trying to
simple.
be.
You have to open your mind.
Okay, enough of you, Illuminati.
All right, fine. It was funny though.
It was funny until you wore out your welcome, or the joke was anyway. Till the joke wore out its welcome, not you specifically. Specifically, Christ, I swear English is my first language.
But Nathan, I wasn't making a joke.
Okay, is this one? Never mind. I don't want to know.
I just like fucking with you.
Yeah, he does. He does. Him and Keegan both have done that.
The thing is, I've only been here for a short time. I'm like, yeah, no, I can see it.
Yeah, I mess with them and they mess with me. Like for instance, Keegan, I always call him the Carolinian, and he's like, "Oh, screw you." That's what his usual response is.
Honestly, dude, you should just start calling him Carol. That's gonna be hilarious.
Well, that'd be unfair to the Carols of the world.
Yeah, but it'd still be funny.
Ugh.
Look, dude, I didn't get to see George Lucas's sequel trilogy, and I missed the opportunity to meet George Lucas. Who sucks? Who has the suckier life? All the Carols in the world, or me? It's clear that I do.
This is true. He almost met George Lucas, but he missed it by a stupid action.
How exactly?
George Lucas was at a Starbucks. I was leaving my high school. It was in Manhattan. My high school was in Manhattan. I was leaving my high school to go to the Starbucks to probably grab a snack before I went home. But it was raining and I had no umbrella. So I said, okay, well, fuck it. I'm just going home. I had a shitty day and it's raining and I have no umbrella. I'm not walking in the rain to get to get something from Starbucks. So I went to the subway. But I found out my film teacher went to the Starbucks the same time I left to the subway, and he actually met George Lucas. So if I went there at the same time, I could have met him, which sucks.
Oh, yeah. That's
He had a
certainly
photo and
sucky.
everything. Yeah,
Yep.
I'm not a fan of it.
Yeah, he's probably like every day, crumb, damn it.
I feel like the universe is fucking with me sometimes, Nathan.
Again, I hate to indulge in my inner cosmicism, but wouldn't that imply the universe gives a shit?
Well, dude, I mean, maybe. I mean, unless you've embraced nihilism like the Joker and you believe that nothing matters, like, at all.
No, I've embraced the feeling of the universe doesn't care.
Yeah,
God
dude.
doesn't care. The universe doesn't.
Dude, that's okay. Well, if God created the universe, so
Okay,
so
it's a how do I put this? I'm more of a like I've said this before, I'm a deist. I tend to think God just made the world and stood back and said, "Do as you please." That's
well,
my
he did. If we're going by the Judeo-Christian scriptures, he did, but he said, "Here's some guidelines. You could either live life the way I want you to, or you could just do what you want."
yeah. You can either do that or just say the tenets. The what is it? Where the commandments are more of a guideline.
Honestly, though, I say that's fair game. It's like if you were a god and you created mortals, why would you want to force them to worship you?
Oh, you wouldn't. What about you, Trolled Cat? What do you think?
I am an atheist, so this is not an area that I
Oh
indulge
wow,
in
dude.
much.
Oh man, we're opposites then.
No,
Like I'm
for
like I
me,
yeah, I'm into the
yes.
mystic stuff. You're probably more grounded in reality.
It's not that I'm more grounded in reality. It's just the fact is I can't deal in blind faith. Like I can't not. I have to, because that's the thing. It's like one of my friends explained to me because she's like heavy Christian, and she was like, the reason she is able to believe is because she has this childlike faith about it. And I'm like, I can't do that. I can't have this childlike faith. I can't be blindly loyal. If I can get like immediate proof and stuff like that, I'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll believe. But because I don't get that, it's very difficult for me to be like, oh, you know what? Yes, there is the supernatural. Yes, there is God, that kind of thing. So for me, I'm just very fact based, and for a lot of
There's
people, it's very
no,
yeah.
no.
And
There's
for a lot
there's
of
a
people,
reason. There's a
uh
reason why
huh.
believing for me is a lot easier. But you go on.
Yeah, no, and so for me, like when I tell people that, they like, oh, but you should know it's a feeling. It's like, yeah, but feelings are inconsistent. What can make you happy can make me sad. So I can't work off of feelings as well.
But cats, you must look beyond your
Oh no, no,
reality.
no! Don't!
All right, fine. You suck.
I know.
No, I when I was a little kid, I think when I was a little kid, I think my parents got mad at me for watching Harry Potter, and I was like, I think I said something dumb like I'd rather watch Harry Potter than go to church because church was boring. But then one night it was storming and I was asleep, and while I was sleeping, there was this angry face in the clouds yelling at me, and then I heard the sound of thunder, and that shit woke me to fuck up. I was like, okay. You know what? I think I actually will believe in God from now on.
Okay, I can actually top that. I actually had a neighbor who thought because I liked Harry Potter at the time, they thought I was a devil worshiper. Like this was a friend of mine's parents. And I didn't notice till years later. I just thought when I heard that, what the fuck?
I don't know. It's
That
like, I don't know. It's like the spiritual, the fantastical. It's kind of hard for me to ignore. All the signs that I see, kind of hard for me to say, nah, that's just imaginary, or nah, that's not real, or someone made that up. It's kind of hard because every single time I had 1 inch of doubt, something always slapped me in the other direction.
Uh, uh, so yeah. Oh, by the way, Troll Cow, I was talking to Dan about this earlier. Like, did you hear what they're doing with the Red Sonja movie?
Oh, I saw, but the thing is, I'm not that hopeful, even though they decided to get a different actress. Because the thing is, they didn't get a different actress because they changed their mind. They got a different actress because the one they had scheduling issues. So it's
Uh,
not like, oh, they suddenly had an epiphany and like, oh, you know what, guys, we're gonna give them a film they deserve. It's more like, oh, the actress isn't here anymore.
But Treble Cat, they spared a redhead this time. Okay, I love that joke.
Yeah, this time, but it's like, okay, they spared her. Are they gonna make a decent film? Are they gonna? Because the thing is, we also isn't like the rest of the cast also like not accurate.
oh, I have no idea. I was only hopeful because of the director they got. They got Bassett, who like directed Solomon Kane the movie. That's all that has me hopeful. Beyond that, I know nothing.
They got Robert
Yeah.
Zemeckis for that Pinocchio Disney live action adaptation, and people are not happy. That film, the trailer's getting ratioed like crazy.
Hey guys,
It's also
I got real quick. I'll be right back.
Oh yeah, sure.
okay. We can have this discussion even though it isn't here. One thing a lot of people need to realize nowadays is that whether someone had like an extensive catalog of like amazing films and or productions and such, we can't look at that and say, oh no, this means that this person they brought on is definitely going to make an amazing product.
Well, honestly, for me, dude, it's never. I've said this before. I think I said this when I was in a college class. Is that we have people we look up to, we have people who inspire us, but we should never not treat them like humans. We should never look to them like they're above or gods. The reason why is because when they do something either dumb, they make a mistake, or they go south, then we feel like idiots for ever liking them in the first place. So we have to treat people as they are, human beings, and respect them that way. Otherwise, we'll always be disappointed.
Oh, I learned that lesson, and my solution was basically don't look up to anyone.
I got no
And
issues
it worked.
looking up to people. Just, be careful. Don't worship people.
Oh no, like when I was younger, I won't I'm saying younger like I'm that old. I'm only 22.
I mean, you don't even know my age.
Oh, you're probably older than me.
Who knows? Okay.
I know
So,
one thing that I've noticed is that the more when people are like the way you are, like how can I say, if they get apolitical and stuff like they usually they're usually 25 or older.
yeah. Oh, well, I'm 19. So how about you?
You're 19. Wow.
Yeah,
I'm
you're
older than you.
probably in
I'm
your
older than
20s,
you.
right?
Yeah, I'm like 3 years older than you.
Oh, okay, cool.
And again, I'm the oldest one in the room. That is always awkward.
You
It's
sound like
okay,
it,
Grandpa.
Grandpa. Wow.
Okay.
No, I'm not. I'm not. I'm not a normal case trouble cat. I know statistics say that the majority are either like in the middle of the political spectrum or like apolitical, but I'm not a normal case
Mm-hmm.
because I've been apolitical my whole life. At least so far. Who knows what the future holds?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
It's
no,
like,
you usually when you get into your 20s, you'll change politics.
Oh, I don't know. Look, the thing is, I can gel with ideas depending on what they are, but policies and government and all that stuff, I can't connect with it. I can understand it, but I can't connect with it. That's why you're not going to see me in protest. You're not going to see me a part of activist groups. It's like if I actually believe in something, I'm just going to see what I can do to make it happen, but I'm not going to label myself or say I'm a part of this or that. And honestly, to me, we should all, work with each other regardless of what we believe. At least that's how I feel personally.
Oh no, I feel the same way. That's the reason why I'm an objectivist. It's because I see there's issues with both sides of the political aisle. The unfortunate thing at the end of the day is this: it's that as much as we'd like to work with people, the fact is one side just doesn't want to work with us. They just hate us. They're like, you don't want to kiss the government's ass. We believe that you should get killed.
Honestly, no, no, the duality and the hypocrisy of politics is astounding. Like when I was younger, I was apolitical because I just wasn't interested. But as I got older, I studied a shit ton of stuff, including politics. And the reason why I stayed apolitical is not just because of the hypocrisies and, of course, the contradictions in all politics, but the duality of politics. It's like, and you notice no matter where you lean or what you label yourself, you notice that certain political groups, no matter how different they are, end up doing very similar stuff. And it honestly, to me, created a sort of political nihilism. I don't believe in it. And I actually think it's the problem.
Yeah, no, the thing is, when it comes to the for example, in America, the two-party system, that is an issue because at the end of the day, as much as people are like, oh, Republicans are different than Democrats, I'm like, no, Republicans are just basically Democrats driving at the speed limit.
Hey, you know what? Because they're conservatives. They're trying to conserve. Hey, Nathan, remember what you said about George Washington? with the two-party system. The joke.
Oh yeah, he's like George Washington when he left office. He had three suggestions when he left: do not incur debt, do not get involved in foreign affairs, and don't form political parties. We did all of the above.
I was about to say that. I was like, you guys did all of that.
Yeah, like we had some badasses, but we had some dumbasses at the same time.
You know what? People probably did that to spite him.
The thing is, you could actually be so right, because that's one of the things. A lot of decisions that get made in politics is usually just to spite people.
Yeah, I could see that. Like,
probably,
of course, pouring tea into the sea because you don't like the government that's controlling you. I like to reference that one.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, like there's probably some good tea jokes to make. Like I hate tea. Like if I had it my way, I would be throwing so much tea into the harbor. It's not even funny.
Wow, Nathan, you know what? If you were in that time period, it wouldn't be hard to get you to do that.
Probably not. I do like to stir the shit.
Yeah, fair enough.
Sort of.
Yeah.
Honestly, they'd probably arrest me for stuff like you haven't been that supportive of the crown. Well, no, duh. The crown bores me to death. It's run by an idiot.
Oh, wow. Yeah, dude, you'll probably get beheaded for saying that.
I wouldn't actually say that. I'd be tempted to. Because, like, the king back then, he was an incompetent, what's the word? Knob. A dumbass. And a jackass to boot.
Oh. Look, as far as I'm concerned, our best solution is either A, to work with each other, and those who can't, like, work with each other on the personal level instead of on the political level. And if we can't work with each other, then B, just peacefully coexist. Not everyone's going to agree. Disagreements always happen. It's our best shot.
The thing is, if you had suggested this before 2016, it would have been possible. Like
I feel like things have gotten worse. You have a point there.
Yeah, no, this is the thing. And I noticed, like, when the raid on Trump's home happened, and I saw a lot of people saying, oh, you know what? If Trump wasn't so divisive, things would be so bad. And I'm like, no, Trump wasn't a divisive figure, because this is the thing. If you look at Trump, as long as he's been around, not at any point did anyone have complaints about saying, oh, Trump was such a divisive person. Trump was so abrasive and brash and XYZ. We never heard about any of this until he ran for president in 2016. And then all of a sudden, oh, Trump is divisive, Trump is abrasive, Trump is all of these things. And I'm like, no, it's not Trump. That's how the media betrayed him. That's how a lot of his political opponents betrayed him. And this is the thing. Trump was like, okay, you know what? You're going to be antagonistic towards me. I'm going to be antagonistic towards you. But this was the difference: is he didn't go as far as these people went to always make him out to be the bad guy. And that's where the problem came in at the end of the day, is that a lot of people fail to acknowledge that the issues that we see when it comes to politics right now, it's that the issue in politics isn't Trump. It's the fact that you had one side of the political aisle go into such extremes to vilify someone and the people that supported him. Because we all remember the hour Hillary Clinton referred to as anyone that supported Donald Trump as deplorables.
Yep. Yeah. I would say Democrats do more to cause division than Republicans. And I don't like Republicans either, but Democrats, they're like the sowers of division.
Well, they are now.
No, but the thing is that they've kind of always been the sowers of division. Like, if you look at, like, the historical pattern of it, whenever America has, like, racial issues or some sort of, like, divisionary narrative going on, it's whenever a Democrat is in power, except with Bill Clinton. But Bill Clinton was too busy having sex.
No. Here's the honest deal. The honest deal is that these political parties and political systems have always been an issue. They've always used the media to their advantage. They've always would twist, like, just objective facts to support their political beliefs. It's just that these days, the Democrats have taken center stage when it comes to this. I'm not saying they weren't an issue before, but now, they're the ones that are saying you can't do or say this Before it was Republicans doing that, and now it's switched. So it really tells you, no matter what political party or group you join, at the end of the day, you end up becoming authoritarian at some point.
Yeah,
And
no, that always happens. But the thing is, it's like I would rather take the Christians over the cultists.
Yeah, like I think Kat had this conversation with me once where I said, like, does it seem like a natural extension of the two? Like, the right's radical conclusion is fascism, the left's radical conclusion is communism. I thought, am I crazy, or does this just seem like the route they have to go naturally?
Oh no,
and
it's the route they go naturally
based on my
because it's basic.
observations, fascism and communism aren't too far away from each other.
No, they're
It's the horseshoe theory. They're very close to
Yeah.
each other. There's just
It's-
that gap that separates them.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
siblings. It's just plain authoritarianism.
Yeah, but
That's-
the only difference is one is more conservative and one is more liberal. That's the only way I can look at the difference.
You know,
I've
that's
actually
the thing.
heard people. Oh, I'm sorry. You go first.
No, you finish.
Oh, okay. I've actually heard people say there are right and left versions of fascism. That it's not really a part of just one political group leaning or party. It's the same thing. It's just different forms of it. And this is why, if you pay attention to history, many socialists and communists kill each other over what they believe is the right version of socialism and communism. Because at the end of the day, all it is power and the belief that you're actually doing something great for the world when really you're just another group killing people.
That sounds like the Christians of old. We are doing it for God. God will forgive us.
Oh yeah, religion. What used to be in place of division before politics showed up.
Yeah,
Just-
I think it was like Helsing Abridged had a good inversion of that where it was like kill them all, let God sort them out. That's how I imagine the old
Yeah.
Christians to be.
But that's the mentality. Because if you look at like progressive or basically any kind of Democrat right now, their mindset is it doesn't matter what we do, we're on the right side of history.
There's
And
something
the
so
issue-
messed up about that.
The thing is, it's basically the idea of the greater good. It's whereby it's like it doesn't matter what we do so long as we get to the intended destination. So even if we have to slaughter 1 million people to get to that conclusion, it doesn't matter because the outcome is worth anything. And this is the reason why I hate the idea of the greater good, because it's like for Hitler, the greater good was killing the Jews. This is the thing, it's like everyone has a different understanding of what the greater good is. And that's what allows for all of these things to happen. Because
The
let's look
greater
for
good.
yeah. Because let's look at, for example, at lockdown. The greater good was everyone stay in your home. What's happened now? The economy has been so thoroughly fucked that you have you have websites changing the definition of what a recession is.
Yeah. No, that's what sucks now. They're changing definitions. Like, and when I mean changing, like, words have had many different meanings before, but now they're just adding new meanings to words for political narratives.
And the unfortunate thing is, because I actually wrote a speech for my younger sister, and the speech was, "What good is education in a world where Google rules?" And I'm like, okay, so I'm writing the speech. I'm going to inject my politics with this quickly. And I said, the issue with Google at the end of the day is that if a government or like any organization just phones them and says, hey, listen, you need to change this information, you need to hide this information, Google will do that. So I'm like, how can you make use of the internet if the information is going to get changed so readily without like notification? Because I know there was once a YouTuber I watched mentioned this. It's like you could get told you know what inflation is, you know the definition, and then you in an argument with someone and they online and they screenshot the definition of inflation, and then they come back with an entirely different definition that's so different from what you know. And it's basically like, and then you go get your dictionary, and in the dictionary it's a different definition, the one that you know, and it's like, oh, Google changed the definition of what inflation is. And since people are so gullible and receive information so passively, they'll immediately believe it and not question it.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, this whole thing, it just sounds to me like price arguing. Like, I remember Razorfist had this video where he was talking about like the Nazis being socialist and how
Oh
like
yeah, the Nazis are socialist.
they are. Like you will never
Oh,
convince
gee
me.
whiz. I never thought the National Socialist Party would be socialist.
Listen, we expecting people that can't think for themselves to be able to tell the obvious.
Yeah, but I think he said like there's this thing called price or wage controls. Like that's how I look at what they're doing now. It's just another form of wage control, or they're trying to change something economically. I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but that's how I'm looking at the situation right now.
Oh, Nathan,
Yeah,
you remember Bats from Discord?
Yeah.
Well, Bats told me he believes that Hitler tried to appeal to the conservative side first, but it wasn't working. So for popularity, he chose the progressive or liberal side in terms of popularity, and it over time it started to work. So he believes that all Hitler wanted to do. He believed that at first Hitler genuinely believed that he was doing the right thing, but over getting so much power, he got lost down the line and became a crazy dictator based on what
oh
he
no,
believes.
oh no, that does make sense. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, most of the people that are like Hitler, they usually tend to believe that they are doing the right thing. That's why, for example, when I hear like the cast members for like Rings of Power, for example, saying, you know what, we are respecting Token's work, we are representing him, we are respecting him. I kind of sometimes say to myself, you know what, maybe these people are being honest. They genuinely believe what they're saying.
No, you could tell. You could tell they genuinely believe, and that's why I say they're crazy.
Yep.
Yeah,
SJWs
no,
are crazy. Adolf Hitler is crazy.
yeah, no. The thing is, it's like to believe things like them, you need to be crazy. But sometimes I wish I was like them because the thing is, I hate being right about the worst things happening. Like when I say, "Oh no, this is what's gonna happen," and then I'm right. I'm like, "Wow, why am I
No, like
Nostradamus of all the bad things?"
here's the deal. This may sound messed up, but they need to believe in the insanity that they do in order to keep going. Because if they don't, they're gonna lose, a purpose, and they need that purpose. So they're gonna
Oh
keep
yeah,
making
no.
excuses. They're gonna keep coming up with nonsensical reasons for why what they do is justified. They're gonna become hypocrites and contradict themselves and say whatever they can to continue going down the path they're going because they truly believe in what they're doing. They probably grew up with it, and now they're going to use it to continue going down whatever this road to find whatever imaginary goal they're trying to achieve, and it's not going to work out in the long run.
Oh no, you hit the nail on the head because I remember I was watching someone's live stream and I was having a conversation with him from the live chat, and we were speaking about the whole. Do you know the Nexus situation with the whole pride flag thing?
I don't know about that.
Oh, so I'll give a quick context. So Nexus is basically a site for mods where you can download and upload and that kind of thing. And so one of the modders decided to make two types of mods, but only one got him like famous. So the one mod is basically that it changes all of the LGBT flags in the Spider-Man game to the
Oh,
American
I
flag.
okay, I'm remembering it now. I remember it now.
Yeah. And so we had that. That was the one mod he made. The other mod he made was basically changes all of the flags in the game to the LGBT flag. So he basically catered to all communities. But the thing is, people only got upset with the one that he changed to the American flag because you cannot touch the sacred alphabet flag because that is blasphemy towards the faggots and all such. I say that because I'm gay. And Nexus, it was like, oh, you know what? We decided to ban this guy's account and delete his account because he done something that went against our policy. Then I'm like, okay, but then why did they keep on the progressive pride flag? You know, the one that looks like utter garbage.
Hmm.
Plain old
Yeah, the one.
hypocrisy.
Yeah, and so the thing is, it's like this is the first thing. The guy, the texture for the flags he got for the American flag mod is from in-game files for the Saudi Arabian version and such. So basically, what he done was he took in-game textures and basically he turned it into like a toggle feature. So like, why don't you be angry at Activision? Why don't you be angry at the people who made the game and had like specific flag code in certain regions? Why not be angry at them? Don't be angry at the modder. And then basically, in the conversation I'm having with him, it's that, you know what, these people at the end of the day, they just do perform morality because they don't have any morals, they don't have principles, they don't have like any moral foundation that they live their lives on. They basically look at what's like the mainstream and popular, and then they base the entire identity around that. Because, for example, when you mention to them, oh, Disney has its first gay character ever, but if that gay character makes its way to the Middle East or China, suddenly they disappear. And this is the thing, like when you complain about the shows, for example, these people will say, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna watch the new Spider-Man. I'm gonna watch the new She-Hulk just because you don't like it." And for me, I say the reason why people got so upset with the flag mod was because their morality was being challenged. The company that panders to you and your identity actually doesn't care about you. They want your money, but in your mind, you believe that they care about you. So when you see instances of, oh, you know what, these don't actually care about us, they just want our money, and we actually being used, these people get very upset and just very volatile because it's like you challenging the entire world.
Actually, I've met modern SJWs and wokesters who actually acknowledge and understand that these companies don't care and truly do believe it, but they're fine with it because they'd rather it be that than it be something else, something else that they hate and them still not caring. So they'd rather them not care and pretend this and pretend by saving face than them not caring and not doing what they want.
Yep.
That's actually more pathetic. It be acknowledging the fact that you're being used but still being okay with it. But that's very feminine behavior, and that's one thing that I will say. And I think I did write an article about this last year or so during the protest in Canada. I was like, what we see is basically two types of politics happening: the politics of the feminine and the politics of the masculine. The politics of the masculine is, I will not allow you to do whatever you want to, even though you are government. And then the politics of the feminine are, if you cater to me and you do for me, I don't care if you mean it or not, but just prioritize me.
Yeah, that's what's the word? That sounds like beta male bullshit.
Yeah, but that's the thing. And like, for example, there was a study that came out, and the study basically showcased like the more testosterone you have, the more right leaning you are. The less testosterone you have, the more left leaning you are.
Uh, oh, that's weird. Signal's getting messed with.
Honestly, I'm fine. People having their opinions and everything, politics or not. Like I have friends who are more I have a lot of friends who are more traditional. I have a lot of friends who are more progressive, and then I have a lot of friends who just don't care like me, and then I also have friends who are in the middle. But at the end of the day, I feel like that we should honestly just look past all this stuff and just come together as people. Extremism is the real problem.
Yeah, that would be fun. The problem I find is like you have it's not even one side that's the problem. It's like a small minority in both sides or just one of these sides who's
No,
starting
Nathan,
shit.
Nathan, I wouldn't even say it's the minorities. It's the ideas of extremism, the ideas of tribalism. It's like those things, no matter what you believe, is going to destroy what has been built.
Yeah, these
Yeah,
people
no,
are
that's
like
true.
yeah, these people are like I was talking to the Batman guy the other day. We were talking about like how everything's the French fault. He said once that there was a time when Rome was just a collection of farms, and then I think it was the Gauls who attacked the Romans, and this caused the Romans to form a country. These people are like Gaulish people. They attack, they destroy, and they expect no repercussions.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
absolutely. On
Yeah.
the whole thing of like, my issue is not even people's politics. I'm like, listen, you are gonna have people that are gonna have the most asinine opinions ever to exist. I'm okay with that. I'm fine with people being idiots. My problem is, at the end of the day, is that I want people to have principles, standards, and consistency. That is where my problem comes in at the end of the day. And in my experience, the HWs and the progressives, they have no standards, they have no principle, and they're very inconsistent. I do find these people on the right as well, and even they, I give them shit. That's the reason why I say I'm an objectivist. It's because I can't find principles and standards on the left. I can't find that on the right, and I can't even find that in the center.
Oh, you could find it everywhere. That's the thing that modern SJWs and some modern progressives will never get is that one. Here's one fact: everything is not political. At least that's how I feel. And the other fact is that there are things about humanity that will always work, no matter who the human is or what they believe. And they'll never acknowledge that because to them, the personal doesn't exist. It's all about the political. And as long as they embrace the political and never acknowledge the personal, they're always going to be confused why someone who doesn't have their politics can be a nice person, a good person, or better yet, just a regular person.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no.
it's
The reason
just-
for no, I'll have you speak, Nathan.
Oh no, you go ahead. I had nothing really to say. I was just going to say, yeah, it's just an asinine situation all around.
Yeah, no. The reason why you have people like SJWs and progressives that can't understand this, it's because their ideologies have these ideas within them, of themselves, where you have to just look at everything as a political. Like, what was it? Feminism has this idea that the personal is political, that every aspect of a woman's life has a political situation attached to it. So your home life is political, your work life is political, everything is political. And this is why these people can't understand that. It's because the ideologies are designed to make them not be capable of understanding why can someone have different politics but be such nice people.
No, this is why I say they're like Sith. They're like Sith. The Sith in Star Wars always crave power. They always want more, whether they're justified or not, and they'll turn to every option that'll get them closer to that, no matter how immoral or no matter how destructive it is. The thing is that these political ideologies, at least the way I see it, on some level, were built on the basis of power, and embracing that power, no matter what standard, no matter what limit, is honestly, what's going to cause destruction. Like a lot of these groups or movements or whatever, they seem to, like some of them, maybe not all of them, they seem to have like a noble belief or a noble cause or purpose. But down the line, generations, who knows, they just fall apart.
Maybe. By the
The
way,
reason
Charlie,
for
did you say objectivist?
yeah, yeah, I'm an objectivist. So if you want to understand what that is, you just look at Ayn Rand. She was
Oh,
the
Ayn
founder of
Rand.
objectivism.
Oh, you're an
Yeah.
Ayn Rand objectivist.
So you're like
Yes.
Steve Ditko, basically.
Yeah, it's like Steve Ditko, basically.
Yeah.
I've always wanted to meet objectivists because they're very interesting. I've read some of Ayn Rand's stuff.
Oh no, I've also read some of his stuff, and this is one of the things one of the main reasons why she's someone that I admire. I know she has fumbled and fooled here and there, but the reason I admire is this one thing, is that when she was asked the question on whether she approves of homosexuality or not, she was like, "I find it disgusting, but I don't think government should have a say in whether or not two adults, consenting adults, can be married." And this is what I want. It's like consistency to your beliefs, because
Yeah,
this is what she
hey,
said.
that's true to fact.
Exactly,
Actually,
and that's the reason why I admire her so much.
You should see the
Mhm.
documentary where the guy asks, where a guy who's interviewing her asks her that shouldn't it be our duty to help others? Shouldn't it be, the reason why we, grow as a society to help other people? And she said no, she doesn't believe that. She believes that people should be individuals. But when he kept asking her that, he kept saying, "So you don't believe we should help people?" And she said, "No, I'm not saying I don't believe that we should help people. I'm saying we should have that choice to decide whether we want to help people or not." That honestly was
Exactly.
profound.
And that's her entire idea, because she came from Soviet Russia and then immigrated to America, and her entire philosophy is that you need to give people the choice. Because this is one of the things, she's like one of the very few philosophers, or actually one of the only philosophers, that made a case for the individual. Every other philosopher talks about the collective, the group, etc. She was like, no, we need people to have the choice. Because this is what she would often say. She would say, it's not that she doesn't believe that you should help people, it's that rather that she doesn't want you to be forced to help people. And if you help that person, you mustn't be harming them. and it mustn't be harming you. Like, for example, if you look at the scene from Knights of the Old Republic 2 with Kreia now, regardless of your choice, she's going to lecture you whether you give the guy money or whether you get angry at him. And when you give him the money, you see him get attacked. And she's basically like, if you're going to help someone, you need to make sure that your action doesn't harm them. So, for example, if I give money to someone who makes bad decisions, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to give you this money because it's because you need it, but I'm not thinking that you're going to use this money to like enable poor decision making. That just creates a worse situation for that person that you help, because now you've basically helped them make poor decisions.
Yeah, I never played that game. I played the first one, and then I played the Old Republic, but I never played the second one.
I can't take Kreia. Like, I like her character, but like, listening to her speak, she kind of deconstructs things in a very uncomfortable way.
I think
that was the point of it, because basically if you play the entire game, like I think Chris Avalon even said this himself, it's that Kreia is meant to deconstruct every single thing up until the point you get to the end of the story, where you have to make that choice of whether you're going to be Sith or Jedi, because within the universe of Star Wars there is no middle. There's only the left and right, so it's only the Jedi and it's only the Sith. There's no in between.
Well, it all comes down to morality, really. It's, good and evil.
Yeah, it's funny because Kreia's like, would it be fair to call her a mentor figure and a Judas?
She is a mentor figure. I don't know about a Judas, but she is very much of a maverick.
Oh no, but the thing is, she is a Judas in the sense that her entire thing is that she will betray you, because she calls herself Dark Treya, the betrayer.
Yep.
So in that sense, she is the Judas, but she's like, you need to be betrayed because it will help you grow. That's her view on it.
Oh, that actually could be argued for Judas as well. Like, there's actually a gospel about Judas where it says, no, he was told to do that. Judas needed to be betrayed, or he would have died a nobody.
Honestly, the interesting thing is that when we look at what happens to people who try to, use the light side and the dark side, they often either A, go crazy and go to the dark side, or B, contribute nothing to the Star Wars galaxy.
Yeah.
But that's the way it is, unfortunately, when it comes to Star Wars. It's like, if I want to do good, but I want to do good with the dark side. It's like, oh yeah, no, you done more bad than good. And if they try to do it with the light side, it's like, yeah, no, you didn't contribute anything.
I mean, with the light side, you're basically sacrificing yourself to the greater force. So it's like, you may have an idea that you'll achieve something, but in reality, you're just, another piece in the puzzle to achieving the reconstruction of balance, which I'm fine with.
This is why I'm a Mandalorian supremacist. It's less complicated.
A Mandalorian supremacist.
Dude, I find Mandalorian's more interesting. Like, I like the Sith, I kind of like the Jedi, but I'm like, if you could tell me I could be any faction, I'd say no. Screw both of those. I want to be a Mandalorian.
I'd be a Jedi.
I'd be a Sith.
If I could. Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah, I can see him doing that. I can see him doing that. Weirdly enough.
Yeah. If I could become a Jedi, then possibly with the help of the Wills, I could really achieve the ability of Force Ghost. That'd be amazing.
Oh, that would be a pain in the ass.
Yeah, and then I could annoy Nathan every day.
Oh god. And he would do that. He would do that in a heartbeat. I can see him doing it. But yeah, wait, would it be fair to say, could a Sith be an objectivist?
No, a Sith.
No.
The Sith, here's the thing. The Jedi are about the natural order. The Sith are the inverse of that. They're about the natural chaos. This is why Palpatine tells Anakin, the Jedi and the Sith aren't so different. He's not saying the Jedi are bad and the Sith are good. He's saying the Jedi and the Sith are the same. No, the Sith, they want to destroy everything and reconstruct it in their own unorganized way, which never works. This is why Sith organizations can never last, because Sith crave power, so they can't work with each other without seeing each other as rivals or competition, and that's why they often end up killing each other.
So they're like, well, here's the funny thing about them being chaotic. Like, didn't Nietzsche once say order comes out of chaos?
Well, the thing is, dude, is that the Sith try to create order from chaos, but that never lasts for too long.
But
Yeah,
it's mainly due to the fact that there's no limitations in the Sith code. It's basically like I must crave power, and the thing is, for example, who was it? Darth Nihilus. So Darth Nihilus basically embodies this idea that there is no restraint or moderation when it comes to the Sith, because he always was consuming, and if you didn't defeat him in the story, he was going to consume all life in the galaxy. And so basically that's the reason why it's that in this the Sith philosophy that there's no moderation or limitation. So basically what happens is you go into just always constantly have people fighting with each other for power, because it's like, why do I need to work with this person if I can just kill them and prove myself to be stronger?
yeah. The Sith are, the funny thing about the Sith and the Jedi, their conflict reminds me of the Templars and the Assassins. Weirdly enough,
Well, I
weirdly
mean,
enough, like they both are pursuing the same goal. It's just they go about it.
yeah, the Sith are after something different.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, they both are similar in some ways, but they're different in how they do stuff.
Oh yeah, it's just like the Jedi are basically slaves. And when I mean that, I mean like they live to serve. They live to serve the people, they live to serve the galaxy, they live to serve the Force first and foremost. Their whole purpose is we are here to do for you. The Sith are like, we have these powers, we have these powers and great abilities. We shouldn't be serving people. We should be the ones calling the shots.
Yeah, I
Yep.
see a Sith as being the one who goes like, "No, no, motherfucker, I'm going to do what I want, and you are going to sit back and watch me do it." That's how I think the Sith think.
I could understand it. Force users usually get mistreated, when they're serving non-force users. So I get why they're like that, but ultimately it's not great in the long run because, you know, the dark side itself is inherently selfish. So the more you delve into your selfishness, the more selfish you get. Eventually the dark side itself is going to be selfish, and when the dark side has no more use for you, you're going to die. This is why Sith always die, because no matter how many cheat codes the dark side gives them, eventually the dark side's going to suck them of all their moisture and then leave them as a dead corpse.
Uh, you know what sucks? This is actually a good conversation. I can't put on Odyssey.
Wow.
Yeah, I can only put it on YouTube, and that's assuming this is going on YouTube. I have no idea if it went through or not. But yeah, to change the subject, kind of. Have either of you played Assassin's Creed?
I
Yeah, my
played the
brother.
first one. I didn't play the other ones because my main issue when it comes to Assassin's Creed is that it kind of just got repetitive after a while.
Uh,
Hey,
who'd you
Cat, is
side
that
with?
a snake in the skull or a dragon?
The snake.
Oh, okay. I was
Yeah.
wondering because I think it has a horn on its head. I could be wrong.
Oh yeah, I was
Oh
kind of
no, it's
one.
a candle.
Yeah, I was going
Oh,
to ask
okay.
if you could join either faction, would you be a Templar or an assassin?
I'd like the ability to kill people, so I'll go with assassin.
Same here.
You guys need help.
I'm sorry,
No,
it's either a group of anarchists or control freaks. And Dan, you kind of know where I stand on control freaks.
I know, dude. I'm not a fan of control freaks either, but anarchists are no better.
They aren't, but I'd rather be an anarchist than
Actually, you know what? I will say I prefer the passive anarchists, the anarchists that are like, yeah, eventually all of this is going to fall apart and there will be no system. But I'd rather wait for that to happen than actually to enact it myself.
uh,
I'll
the
take
issue
those
with
anarchists.
but the one issue with anarchists is the fact that they completely ignore the fact that hierarchies are a natural thing.
Yeah. No, it's that anarchists, at least a lot of them, not all of them, seem to believe that, chaos is the natural state and eventually things will go back to it. They believe it started out chaotic and eventually when all these systems and hierarchies fall apart, it's going to go back to chaos. But the difference is you have the aggressive anarchists that want to bring about that chaos and go back to that natural state, and then you have the passive ones who will just wait until eventually it stops, even if they don't live to see it.
Yeah, no, because in that sense, because I do know one anarchist is he's a major pro-gun guy, and for him, he's basically the anarchism he wants is basically this: it's where communities decide for themselves what happens. So essentially, it's taken the idea that the states have in America, where it's like you have the state and then you have the federal authority, and so they just want to be like, okay, we want the state, but then we want to even decentralize for the state and give it to the communities. And I'm like, that's completely fine because then you can have like your communities or like your areas and stuff doing their own thing, and that's completely fine for me because at the end of the day, within that, the best ideas are going to win out there. If you're just having people like working together and deciding for themselves, the best ideas win there. Because like if you look at, I don't, where did they build that isolated zone? Was it in Chicago or Portland?
Oh, the anonymous zone. I think that was in Portland.
Yeah, in Portland. And so there, for example, we saw that the idea of a community self-governed and stuff like that wouldn't work out because at the end of the day, none of the people there are capable of anything or even capable of working there. Because what happened was, within like the first day, they were really like gun violence issues of people being shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's this is why I say never give leftists control, because this is like they went through, like, I think Weaponized Nerd Rage once joked they went through the phases of communism. Like they took over, shit went downhill real fast, and then they went back to being capitalistic.
Yeah, no, that's basically how communism works.
Yeah,
Everyone's
you
like,
got two
oh,
types when it comes to this mindset. You got those who genuinely believe in it and they're not too sane in the head. And then you have those who don't believe in it and just want to control people.
and that's the
So,
majority of communists, unfortunately. Like
yeah, and
I've
sometimes it's
I've
both. Sometimes people have both of those things.
yeah, but no, the thing is, I find the idea of wanting to control people is very inherent in communism because I read Karl Marx's manifesto on communism, and I can't remember where exactly this section comes up, but he talks about this that after the revolution is achieved, you need a dictatorship of the proletariat. So the people who started the revolution need to be a part of this dictatorship to ensure that the revolution did not happen in vain. So essentially, Karl Marx, they're like, yeah, guys, you need to have a dictatorship, to ensure that the power is in the hands of the people, but dictatorship.
I never understood Karl Marx's logic. It's like he believes that people need to come together, create a powerful dictatorship, and then when that dictatorship enforces the way things should be, it's going to mysteriously over time just dissolve. And then when it's dissolved and the power structure is gone, everyone's just going to naturally believe in the system, and then they're just going to live about their lives equally. It's like, well, one, if I met Karl Marx, I'd say there's a big issue with that. If you give people a powerful system like that, how on earth are they going to say, you know what, let me give up this power? I don't see that happening. That seems very
And
stupid. I think there's an error in his logic.
the thing is, first of all, you need to understand this was a man that came from a wealthy family. His father was
True.
like, listen, you need to be fucking productive. Because I read the letters his father wrote to him, and his father was like, listen, you are a disappointment. You are good for nothing. When are you going to stop living off your friends and go and make a name for yourself? Because Karl Marx lived off his friends, off his rich capitalist friends, but he has an issue with capitalism, but he's living off the rich people.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, and so basically he's now living he's not living on the ground with people because one we're going to now jump ahead into the future. There was a socialist in the UK, and he was waiting for the revolution to happen, and then he noticed that when people got home they stopped caring about politics. It's like they left politics outside and they would pick it up when they went to work. And that's how people are. Like I can tell you, like I know a lot of people that will talk about politics 24/7 when they're on Twitter, if they're out in public, but when they get home they're like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about politics. And that's how people are, because at the end of the day, if you 24/7 on politics, you are going to be miserable. That's why you
You're going to
often
go
will notice
insane,
it.
if anything.
Yeah, and that's why you often notice like SJWs and progressives, if they're not insane, they're miserable as fuck.
Well, yeah, you can't. Like I said, there's a difference between the personal and the political. Now, you can argue, you can make connections between the personal and the political. You can make connections between the personal and anything, but the reality is the personal is still the personal. This is why when I debated a modern progressive, I believe online, they approached me and they talked to me about about morality and politics. I was like, no, morality and politics aren't the same thing. Politics are like government and social, those are like government policies and like social beliefs and stuff like that. But morals, that's a little deeper. They're not the exact same thing. You can make a connection between the two, but you can't say that morals and politics are the same. If you're going to say that, then morals are going to be muddied and very
Exactly.
corrupt.
But that's the thing. These people don't have their own moral foundations. But here's something interesting. I just remembered. I done the moral foundations test while I was watching Aiden Paladin's stream, because I derailed the stream by talking about South African food, because Spoon is actually a South African. And I done the test, and literally, for authority, I got 83%, and for liberty, I got 100%. So I'm like, okay, yeah, no, this makes sense. I'm very diehard on give me liberty or give me debt, but I'm also like, we need structures of authority. As much as I hate to say that, and it's not because I believe that, oh, I need to be in a position of power. I know if I'm in a position of power, I will enforce my morality so hard on people. I'll be like, if you play stupid games, you will win stupid prizes.
Oh
Like that.
shit.
That's how I am. Like I
Oh
will
no.
enforce my things
Oh
on people.
no, Nathan, quick! We must destroy this. We must stop
Yeah,
them.
it would be worse if it was me in charge. Just remember, I'm the kind of guy who would say if I was in charge, I would wall off California and New York.
Oh,
No, you need to. You need to.
dude, damn it, dude! Those are two places that are near and dear to me, along with Florida. You can't do that.
Oh, Florida, I'll leave alone. Florida, I would arm everyone in Florida and say, "Do as you please."
But we need to.
Dude,
We need to get of Rob DeSantis and his red flag laws.
Oh no.
Oh
Nathan,
no, he
don't.
has red
Yeah.
flag laws. Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
Honestly,
Yeah.
if I controlled the world, I would just like I would take politics. I wouldn't I wouldn't fully get rid of it, but I'd be like, it does not have the kind of power or influence it once had. I will basically dissolve it. I'll pull a Karl Marx. I'll dissolve politics into basically the bare fucking minimum. And people will make decisions, the most important decisions, based on morality.
Oh, for me, it would be like you know how there's a movie called Escape from LA and Escape from New York. I would make that prophecy.
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 Dude, look. Look. New York and California aren't in the best of states right now, and they've always had issues, but they were better before, man. It's not like they were horrible the whole time.
Yeah, but the thing is, back then, they were kind of, how can I say, purple states.
Oh, yeah, I
Yeah.
can see that. Yeah.
Yeah, back then they were purple states, and then they just went like full on progressive. And this is one of the issues I have with progressives, is that they will fight so hard for specific policies and want to say they're such moral people, but when the consequences, or rather the outcomes of what they want, reach their footsteps, or like outside their home, then they're like, oh my fucking god, what is this? For example, with J.K. Rowling, and this is the reason why I will never accept her sudden pivot on transgenderism, is that when it started out, she was pro transgenderism. She was like, yes, men can be women too. Trans women are women. And then she started seeing the issues with her position. Then she decided to change. And for me, it's like, yeah, you know what? You can have a certain opinion, you can change over time and come to a different conclusion. But here's the thing, she has not once acknowledged the fact that she contributed to the current culture in the UK when it comes to transgenderism. She has not acknowledged that.
The issue that a lot of progressives, I shouldn't say all of them, but a lot of them are learning is that even though they're progressive, they have a set limit to how, I guess, progressive in terms of politics that they are. And they're now starting to see those limits because, as, the modern progressive popularity continues to move more towards a state that they never really agreed with, they're now going to seem conservative. And this is why I say what was progressive back then is conservative today. There was a time when having a republic was very progressive, but that was centuries ago. And in that republic, only men could vote. They owned slaves. Women had no say in anything. It's like, well, it was progressive for its time because monarchies, but now that's pretty conservative.
Yeah, and I'd be tempted to make a joke here about the whole it was only men voting, but at the same time, like, you know what? Someone might take this the wrong way if I make that joke. Like every time every time he brings that up, I'm like, those were the days back when it was men voting.
But even then, one thing a lot of people fail to acknowledge is when did men start voting? Because this is always the one thing that I hate about, say, oh, back then women couldn't vote. I'm like, okay, you think men got the right to vote? When it was monarchies, did men vote for the king? No. That's one of the things that annoys me so much about these people is that they don't know fucking history. It's like they'll be like, oh, men could always vote. I'm like, wait, did we not have kings and queens?
Now, this is why I say it's the duality. It's the duality of politics. You're only so progressive until you end up becoming conservative. There's that line you will not cross, and then all of a sudden you're not that progressive hero anymore.
Yeah, you know what annoys me is both what Kat just said about how like they don't know the history. The other thing is they then limit what you can do. Like one thing that annoys me, like you ever hear someone say you can't make that movie anymore? Like say, like Blazing
Saddles. Wait, you mean like you can't make like for example when Mel Brooks said you couldn't make Blazing Saddles today, which I completely agree with.
Yeah, like can you imagine what would happen if you made Blazing Saddles today? The amount of
that movie would not even hit theaters.
No, like you remember how what was it? Like you remember how when Trump first got into office, like he was being inaugurated and he had that one lady screaming at the top of her lungs? That's what would happen if Blazing Saddle was made today.
Look, Nathan, I told you it was originally put on HBO Max when HBO Max was made. The modern SJW saw it. They hated it. It got taken off HBO Max for months. And then when the modern SJWs realized the whole point of Blazing Saddles, finally it got added back on and they started praising it like, it's this amazing thing. And they acted like they didn't, hate it before.
Well, yeah, these are idiots. Yeah. About.
It took them forever to realize the film was making fun of racist, because they just thought it was a racist movie. They didn't pay attention to the context.
Yeah, because we're talking about.
But the thing is, context don't exist for these people.
True.
Yeah, they are stupid. They are very. And the funny thing for me is like, and that's not the only kind of movie you can make today. Like, I cannot see them making a Death Wish or a Dirty Harry now.
Oh, Dirty Harry was amazing. I don't know. I just like Dirty Harry movies.
For me, when it comes to the whole film thing, because even this idea of, oh, you can't make a film like that anymore, or a show like that anymore, is that a lot of people don't understand when we talk about this kind of thing. So, for example, I'm not sure if any of you saw on Twitter that there was this guy talking about, they couldn't make Avatar in this stage because people would say,
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, he does. He has a YouTube channel. It's surprising. He understands the issues with modern wokeness and how it's ruining characters. He's commented on it, but he always tries to still blame fans for being toxic. I never understood it.
Yeah, that's someone that lacks principles. Because the thing is, if
he's all over the place.
Yeah, the thing is, if someone is inconsistent, they have no principles. That is my standard, and I've been very correct with that. The moment they're inconsistent, they're unprincipled. And this is my thing at the end of the day.
Did you see Possum Review's response to that tweet? That was hilarious.
Oh, I saw it. The thing is, I plan to do a video on this and have it out by Monday or Tuesday. And I'm actually going to include Possum Review's response in the video.
Oh man, that's cool. I should check out your channel.
Oh yeah, you can check out my channel.
Yeah, he's done a few videos already. I thought they were okay.
I don't know. I love Possum Review's rant about the words "everything is political" in his 2016 Ghostbusters review. Like, it's fun to make fun of these kinds of people, but he didn't just make fun of them. He actually had a lot of logic behind what he was saying.
Yeah, no, that's one thing for me, and the reason why I like people like Possum Reviews and such. Raise a fist, I'm kind of on the fence about nowadays, because the thing is, I like people who can be very logical about what they're saying. This is the reason why I'm subscribed to someone like Weaponized Nerd Rage, is because he has a logic behind what he says. He doesn't just attack and attack and attack like a lot of other YouTube channels do.
Yeah, like I miss when Weaponized Nerd Rage did individual videos. Now he just does streams.
Yeah, he probably has a lot to say, so he tries to get it all out. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah,
Could be wrong.
he does have a lot to say.
Yeah, I just miss the individual videos because those were funny. Like he had one about like when J.J. Abrams was attacking fans. It got deleted, unfortunately. I missed that video.
No, it's kind of funny because JJ, he tried all the methods. He tried to insult the fans. He tried to play the racist and sexist game. He tried to run away from the trilogy after the first film because he was afraid of getting the heat. And then he got dragged back for the third film. And then after that failed, then he finally admitted that he didn't have a plan and that he should have planned ahead. It took him it took all of that for him to for him to have some humility.
But my one issue with that is that I won't even blame Disney for this. I blame George Lucas for even just like selling the Star Wars IP to anyone. Like I literally blame him, because it's like, why the fuck would you sell?
I don't blame.
I think got to him. I think the media got to him.
It's not It's not just the media. The media is part of it, but it's like, you think Disney just simply? You think his friends in Disney just simply asked him? No, they kept badgering him about it. They kept badgering him about it whenever he would see them. The media kept going on about it. On top of that, you know, on top of that, I believe Obama had a tax for rich people that, you know, George was worried about that tax because he had employees that he didn't want to fire. So George believed that if he gave Lucasfilm to Disney, his employees could keep their jobs. Of course, Disney fired a lot of his employees. So a lot of factors along with that, when he was trying to develop his sequel trilogy, he decided, do I want to spend my possible last few years of life making a third trilogy, or do I want to take care of my daughter? He chose to take care of his daughter and start a museum. So a lot of decisions went into him selling Star Wars. I kind of feel bad.
But my thing at the end of the day, the fact is that he could have rather even sold to someone else, or he could have been like, oh, you know what? I don't know. He could have made a better decision overall about that, because at the end of the day, you never sell to a corporation. It's like, that's the golden rule. If you're creative, never sell to a corporation.
I do have to agree with Kat there on the grounds of, like, I don't know if there was a big like warning light George could have seen, but like I would have just given it to another indie worker.
If I was George, I would have held on to it and figured out something.
The thing is, this is the thing. He would have been able to find someone that would have been willing to buy it and would have done much better with it. So, for example, if he were to sell, like, for example, if he waited through, like, let's say the Culture War happened and he kept on to Star Wars. If he sold it to the Daily Wire, but I doubt they'd have enough money to buy Star Wars. Star Wars would have been fine there. It would have been fine there, because the thing is, as much as I hate Ben Shapiro and I hope that
you
he
hate
can
Ben Shapiro.
I hate Ben Shapiro because he's inconsistent with his politics. Like that's the reason I hate him.
I'm not even going to get into that. I'm not even going to jump into that.
Ooh, please jump into it. I want to know why.
I thought, no, my opinions are simple. I just thought the guy was funny. It's like, okay, maybe he has some. I was like, I watched some of it, so it's like maybe he has some arguments behind his points, but I just thought his voice was funny. So, like I said, I'm not a very political person.
Yeah, no, I watch his video on like the highest speed, and I can't tell any difference.
Oh, yeah, I used to like him until he opened his mouth about Michael Jackson.
Oh, that's wait, Ben actually believed the whole Michael Jackson controversy, Nathan?
Actually, all of the Daily Wire believed the Michael Jackson accusation, I think, except for Andrew Clavin. Yeah. Except Andrew, but Andrew is this anomaly on the Daily Wire. Andrew is fine with pornography existing. everyone else at the Daily Wire is like, porn should be banned from the internet and be gone forever.
Yeah, well, if you notice with the Daily Wire, you have different ranges of right leanings. Like I guess you have the authoritarians, and then you have the libertarians in the right sphere.
Oh, speaking of libertarians, did y'all see that meme of like McCain's casket?
Oh shit, that reminds me of the libertarian joke I saw online about Robin Hood. Is like when they said when the person said, everyone always says, the person always said, leftists always say that Robin Hood steals from the rich and gives to the poor. But in reality, Robin Hood stole from the government and gave to the people. It's like, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
I mean, he's not wrong. It's monarchy, feudalism. That's not really capitalism, but still, you shouldn't say that.
Yeah, and the funny thing is, like, the commies had their own version of Robin Hood. I forget what his name is, though. But
I'm still waiting for us to get our black Robin Hood,
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. They're doing that now.
Yeah, I don't really care. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy for or against race swapping if they stay true to the core of the characters, but often these days they do it because wokeness, so it's kind of hard, it's kind of hard to not be mad.
I'm just thinking to myself, screw it.
The thing is, I'm always mad about it, because my thing at the end of the day, there is other like IPs and stuff that have black characters and things. Like, for example,
but they never
it's like
use them, right? Yeah, I've heard that.
Yeah. Like, actually, I looked at all of the like black characters at DC and stuff, and it's like over, I think, like 150 black characters, and I'm just like, okay, why not use these characters? But then the thing is, it's that
there's endless black DC and Marvel characters that they'll never even mention.
Like
Blue Marvel was finally like mentioned after I don't know how long.
Like Static Shock, that was an awesome character DC has.
No, Static Shock is awesome, but he's been mentioned before.
But the thing is, Static Shock has become like a BLM mouthpiece. I think like Icon Comics or something like changed his origin story to be like he became a hero at a Black Lives Matter march.
It's kind of funny because in the original comic, Static Shock was in the middle of black on black violence, and now in these modern comics, it's of course the classic, well, not the classic, but the current BLM stuff.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's like I read the comics, and I remember there was like, I don't know when was it, but it was basically talking about racism and stuff. And I think like his father said to him, it's like, hey, listen, don't think like that. That's what led to the Nazis.
Oh, wow. Actually, I just thought of something. There was like, I think someone invented like it was like a black comic creator invented a popular black superhero character. I forgot who they were. And he was shocked and kind of a bit enraged because when he came to visit some kids at a school, the only person interested in his character was the one white kid. No one else cared about his character.
But that's always the case. That's always the case.
Funny.
Like someone mentioned this last year. I remember on my old Twitter account, someone mentioned this, and they were like, black people want to talk so much about wanting to be represented, but then they don't want to support black content creators. And usually the people that support him the most are whites. And I was like, but that's always the case. It's the white people will support you more than your own group.
That's the here's the thing, it's that and look, maybe some people disagree with me on this, but honestly, I stand by it. Batman, Superman, and Spider-Man were not popular because they were white characters. They were popular because they were interesting characters. People liked them because they were characters. And they were interesting characters. And the thing is that if they were presented and praised as white characters, no one's going to be interested because all they can see is that they're white. That's one of the biggest issues I have with the whole diversity and inclusion arguments for a lot of minority-made characters, is that if you just keep focusing on their race or culture and not them as individuals, people aren't going to care. You need to make them unique and interesting.
But the thing is, actually right about that. And the thing is, I always say, it's like when you write a white character, it's like, you're going to have to bring your best writing ability, because you're not going to be able to play the oh, I am a woman. I've lived through hard times because of my vagina. You're not going to be able to bring those kind of stories because, as far as we know, like people haven't gone through anything according to most people. So you have to write a very good story. You have to make them relatable. You need to create an actually good character. And the issue with like female characters, gay characters, non-white characters is that you always have this thing of, oh, I experienced racism, I experienced homophobia, I experienced sexism. It's like, yeah, no, this doesn't really help us with anything. Like
No,
we
it's
want
like
a really good
if you
character.
no, it's like you need to make them more than what they were made for. Like if you don't, then they're not. It's like if you don't make them more than what they were made for, then you're not going to basically you're going to fail. It's like a good example of this is when George made Lando Calrissian for Empire Strikes Back. Is that he wasn't just token black guy. He was a character who happened to be black and he had an interesting personality, and he didn't have to be made the good guy because he was a black character. He was made as an average human being. He made a choice, for basically what he cared about, and he had to sacrifice and betray some friends as a result, but he did it. And at the end of the day, he made that choice not because he was, an evil black character or a good black character, but because he was a character. If you make characters as characters, regardless of their race or gender, people are going to be interested.
Yeah, but the thing is, the people that are writing characters nowadays, they don't
True.
see it like that. They see the character as representative of the entire group. So
That's
for
the
this is the
problem.
reason,
Yeah.
and that's my issue at the end of the day. Because this is the reason why. Like for me, I would love to have a show like that. That's the thing. Like as much as I say I hate representation and I don't give a fuck about it, I will go out of my way to go and watch be love shows from like Thailand, South Korea, that kind of thing. And it's not because it's gay, it's because I'm like, oh, I'm gonna get a show with really good, well written characters that happen to be gay.
Yeah, exactly. It's like you just need to write good characters. I don't care if you have like a mantle or legacy story. I don't care if you create an original character. They have to be written well. This is why Miles Morales in the comics was always shaky, but Miles Morales in Into the Spider-Verse is well praised because he was actually written well that time.
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
thing one yeah.
I was gonna say, like, I always heard before I like got into like these YouTube commentaries, I always heard Miles Morales was a popular character. So I'm
He
like,
was he was popular in his initial introduction, but then after his introduction, controversy started to come because fans wanted Peter Parker back, and two, Miles wasn't that different from Peter Parker in the at least the original character, the original version of the character.
uh,
So there was a lot of controversy, and a lot of people just wanted Peter Parker back, and then Peter Parker came back and there were team ups, which was cool, but for the most part people really just wanted the status quo. This is why Stan Lee talks about the illusion of change in comic books. You create fascinating and interesting scenarios, but it always has to come back to the status quo on a
Yep.
subtle level. Yeah.
Though there's one thing I still won't get over the what ifs of Miles, where he was Thor in the hood.
That was just hard. That was horrible.
I refuse to believe that's true. I refuse to believe that's a real comic.
Oh no, Nathan, you must embrace the cringe.
I refuse on the grounds if I don't want to believe a human could create that much cringe.
Yeah, but a human can. We, as
Oh,
Jordan Peterson said, we can do extreme good and extreme evil.
and
Oh,
that comic was I have no words for that comic.
yeah, I heard of it. I don't want to see it. If someone ever brings it to me, I will scream at them.
It's kind of funny. It's like people say you should be happy. You should be happy. You should appreciate this. I'm like, you really think I should be happy about this? This is the kind of representation you're telling me that I have to love so much. It's like, this is shit. It's like, I don't care if the character is black or not. This is just horrible. You don't do this to
But-
Asgard.
But this is the thing. It's like I often say that these people, they have no standards, and so they find eating the molded breadcrumbs because they find eating shit even because they're like, oh no, I this representation is so delicious. Yum, 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 yum.
Look,
I love it so
even
much.
even if you want to make a what if, like what if Miles Morales was Thor, even if you wanted to do that, you can't turn that into Asgard. You gotta Asgard cannot be like Asgard still has to be angelic on some level because it's Asgard.
And the ghetto ain't angelic.
No, they're the opposite.
The ghetto is very bloody.
Yep. I've only been in a few ghettos in my life, but they are always messy. Actually,
I've lived in the ghetto.
my grandmother lives in one. Like the funniest story I ever heard about that was one time there were a couple of these idiots blocking the road. You know what my grandpa did? He kept on driving.
Oh yeah, no, like that's the thing. Like if you live in the ghetto, you don't give a fuck. You if someone's in the street and they don't want to move and they're blocking the road, ride over them.
Yeah, no, he kept on driving like it was a game of chicken. They blinked first.
That's hilarious.
That wasn't even the dumbest thing he did. One time he shot a shotgun in his own roof.
Is someone on the roof?
No, I think someone was
Oh.
arguing and he just shot it to shut them up.
Because I know usually like if that happens, it's because someone's on your roof trying to break into your house.
No, I think one time he shot a shotgun outside too. I'm like, I never heard any of this while he was alive. I wish I knew this. He was more badass than I thought.
But that's always the case. You don't hear the stories until after the person's long gone.
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah, the only thing I knew about him when he was alive was he liked movies. Like he would watch Death Wish, westerns, and that was about it. Like before he died, he wanted to watch Shane one more time.
No.
Don't know why.
On the whole movie thing right now, I really wonder how films are gonna be going forward because I know, for example, Warner Bros. Already has enough money to release two films, Something Darlings and Black Adam.
Black Adam. Oh, that's right. The movie with what's his name? Dwayne Johnson.
Dwayne, I'm a shill for Democrats Johnson.
Yep, that's him. Yeah, man, was that disappointing? That was disappointing, but he's a celebrity, so I expect it.
Yeah, no, you don't expect any standards from celebrities. Like I'm still waiting patiently for like someone like Anthony Hopkins to say something shitty. But he's just been like, listen, I'm a celebrity. I should just keep my mouth shut. I'm like, yes, my guy. Say louder.
I don't mind people having their opinions or beliefs. What I do mind is that, we shouldn't embrace extremism, just hating other people for either A, not agreeing, or B, not being fully on board with everything they believe. Like there's just an issue there.
Yeah, there's one.
Yeah, no, there is an issue there.
There's a silver line to these celebrities opening their mouths. Though some of them die in these movies. We can laugh at that.
Yeah, I can't laugh at that, dude. I mean, like, look, those when it's like. It's kind of a tragedy because those things are usually by accident.
Yeah,
like Bruce Lee's son.
Yeah.
Oh no, I don't mean actually die. I mean like they fake die in movies.
Oh, like in the movies.
Yeah,
right?
no, like that. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, no. My issue with celebrities at the end of the day is that these people get paid. They are actors. They will do anything for money. And the reason why I don't want them saying anything is because that's not your opinion. Like that's my thing. It's that the thing is, if they were genuine, and hardly any of them are genuine, then I'd be like, yeah, no, you can say whatever you want to say. But the thing is, most of them aren't genuine. Like for example, Matthew McConaughey, like he was crying there during his speech at the White House, said, "Oh, it was so tragic what happened in Uvalde, however you pronounce it." And my wife was so concerned. She found that one of the victims' shoes. And then it turns out, oh, no, the wife just bought those shoes. It wasn't the victim's shoes that she decided to bring with her. No, she bought those shoes.
No, it's like, you need to even if I don't agree with you on something, you have to be consistent. If you're not consistent, then on some level, I'm going to lose at least some or all respect for you. Because, if you're not consistent,
Exactly.
yeah.
Yeah, like Keith
And
Davis.
Yeah. You were
and
saying
that's something
anything?
we agree with.
Oh yeah, I'm sure we agree on that. This is why, above all else, people like say George Lucas or Keanu Reeves or people like that, I can always respect them because they're always consistent with their beliefs. But it's like you have so many celebrities, they don't give a shit. You could tell like someone like George Lucas or Keanu Reeves, they actually care. They do give a shit.
Yeah, and the funny thing about Keanu Reeves is the stuff he gives a shit about is funny. Like it turns out he was funneling money into a hospital
Yeah.
secretly, and he was keeping it a secret. And I'm thinking to myself, why? Like a journalist found this, and I was like, why are you keeping this a secret? And he's like, it seems selfish. And
He didn't want to draw attention to his, fame and popularity when doing it.
Yeah, like
Yeah, no.
I think I joked like this just in. Keanu Reeves has been sneaking into Ronald McDonald's and helping kids with their homework. Like they found the one guy who probably wasn't on Epstein's island.
Wow.
Yeah, no, but the one thing with Epstein's Island, I will say this, is that I can legitimately believe that some people went there not knowing what the island was. They had fun while they were drunk, and then they were like, "Oh, you see, we have this video of you busy with a child."
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, it's like, look, when it comes to these situations, they're complex. They can be very complex. It's like when it comes to right and wrong morality, the issue, it's like right and wrong morality isn't complex, but people are complex. But what really matters is the choices we make. That can't be complex. It has to be very straightforward.
Yeah, like Keanu, like the only people you hear from Hollywood who have probably not done something crazy is like Keanu Reeves and George Lucas. Those are the only two I can think of, and I'm just thinking to myself.
No, there's others, but like they're two examples of people who actually do care.
Yeah, and the thing is, they've spoken about the most also.
Yeah, but those are the only ones I hear about who have not been caught doing something stupid. I'm just like, what? Why are these two okay?
George Lucas, I remember he said that when he dies, because they asked him what was going to happen to his wealth when he passed away. He said, well, when he dies, all of his wealth is going to like medical centers and education systems. It's like you when you really hear that, it's like he actually gives a shit about what he talks about all the time.
It's better than what happens in the Jew joke. Like there's this funny joke where I think Weaponized Nerd Rage said like an old guy wins a lottery. You know he says he wants to have happen when he dies?
What?
He says, okay, when I die, give this amount to my son, give this amount to my daughter, because she'll probably kill herself if you don't, and give this amount to the Hitler Memorial Youth Fund. And they're like, why? And here's the thing, the guy who won the lottery, he's a Jew. He has the numbers on his arms and everything. And they ask him, why? Where do you think I got the lottery number from? That joke never gets old.
Wow.
Hey, I've told you before, Dan, I like dark subject jokes.
I like dark humor too. I just have a limit.
Oh, for me, the limit is it has to be good. It can't be bad.
Oh, the limit for me is that there are just some things you don't touch. And what I mean by that is I'm not telling anyone else that they're not allowed to touch certain subjects. I just mean me personally. Like there's a level I won't cross. When it comes to dark humor, I like it, but there's a limit. And I'm setting that for myself. But I'm not going to be like, I guess a modern SJW and say, well, you can't say this, you can't say that, or you're a horrible person. I'm not going to do that. You should have the free right to make any jokes you want. I just won't.
I give it 24 hours. That's it. So, like, take it like John McCain. When he died, I think I may have been I can't remember, but after 24 hours, he's fair game.
After 24 hours?
Yeah, 24 hours.
Yeah.
Hey, Nathan, what happens in 24 hours? You find an angry mob outside your house.
I'll say, I regret nothing.
Oh, damn. You don't want to say that.
The thing is, you know what, you could take care of the mob, your gun just went off for no reason. Someone fell down, it was an accident. The
Oh
gun
God.
did it, not you.
Oh yeah, I live in Texas, so I could use that excuse.
You'd be like, there
No,
was just so much guns.
You know what, Nathan? You just need to lock your doors and close the windows and just hide in your house, and eventually the mob will leave because of how hot it is. They're
This is
sweating
true.
everywhere.
It is hot as I don't even have a description. It's just hot here. Like it's so hot. I sometimes wonder if the morning star fell here instead of in Arizona.
I wouldn't be surprised.
And yeah, and holy shit, it's 2 hours. I didn't think it would last that long. Oh well. Anyway, yeah, it's hot here. It is hot. Like, but if a mob shows at my door, no, I'm fucked. I'm a dead man and I don't even know it. I'm basically like Ozzy Osbourne. I'm dead and I don't know it yet.
Yeah.
Like, but yeah, no, I remember when John McCain died. I think Razorfist said he waited 24 hours out of decency just so he could say this. And I'm glad I did because fuck this wizard old warhawk. Because again, fuck John McCain. He's an asshole.
Dude, Nathan, is there someone you don't hate?
Keanu Reeves, George Lucas, Jesus Christ, Judas of Iscariot. Judas of Iscariot.
You got to work on that, dude.
No, I got a longer list. You just have to give me a second. Tolkien.
I don't hate Jesus.
Yeah. Of course. The atheists say they don't hate Jesus. We're on to you.
Wait a minute. This is me saying I do not hate him. So I'm hoping I'm saying this right. Let me think. Who else?
I don't really hate people, but I can hate what they do. Like, I don't hate people personally, but sometimes people will do things and I'll just hate it beyond belief.
Yeah, I don't hate Mark Hamill, but he does disappoint me.
Oh, dude, you guys just don't agree politically.
No, it's not even that. It's like he told a kid to force himself.
Yeah, like I said, that's the one thing I won't agree with him on. It's like they're kids, dude. Like, regardless of how you feel about this person or that person, you don't say that to kids. That's fucked up.
Yeah, so I don't hate Mark Hamill, but I am disappointed in him. But yeah, no, there are people I don't hate. It's just you don't hear about it that often. It's like people ask, what do you dislike? I would say it'd probably be easier to tell you what I don't dislike.
You mean what do you like, right?
What?
Like,
never mind.
For me, for example, I say I hate inconsistency and I hate unprincipled people. That encompasses almost the majority of people that exist because a lot of people are inconsistent.
I could be more lenient on inconsistency if it's a genuine mistake, but if you're just being
an
asshole, yeah.
Yeah, the thing is, I do draw the line at genuine mistake. For example, I used to be the biggest Lady Gaga fan, like all gay men. Unfortunately, I was very stereotypical in my youth. But my
really.
Yeah, no, like the thing is, it's like I'm not going for Madonna. She's a bit too old and crazy. I thought Lady Gaga was a bit reasonable but crazy. But then I also was like, yeah, no, you're a typical woman that doesn't understand politics, so I have to love and leave you. For example, she talks about how she was a victim of rape, but then you hear her story. It's like she can tell you the story of how she got raped, but she doesn't know how she got raped. Do you see? It doesn't make sense. Then she's like, it was a producer I made music with, but I never pressed charges against this guy. It's like, huh? So you know who he is, but you never pressed charges. Like, why? And she's like, I'll never mention his name, but like, we know who you made music with. Like, there is a list of people you've made music with. So somewhere on that list is the person. So you can't say to us, oh, I won't mention him. And so for me, when I look at that whole situation, I'm like, okay, you're probably lying about this attention, which wouldn't be unsurprising because a lot of celebrities have lied about having tragic situations happen in their life and have lied about it. And for me, it's the fact that you can say you were a victim, but you can't remember if you were raped or not. It's like he used to badger me every day for sex, saying if I don't sleep with him, he's going to delete my music. And then he just kept on badgering me. And one day I just froze and I what happened. And it's like, okay, it's like how can you talk about the situation but you can't remember if it happened or not?
Speaking of Lady Gaga, if I remember, the modern SJWs went after her recently.
When they
I think it
haven't
was a
gone
few
after?
months ago.
But what was it for? Because I know she's not, like she's progressive, but she's not consistently progressive.
She said something that she said something. If I remember that rubbed them the wrong way. Like I said, you can be progressive until there's a certain line you won't cross, and then they'll hate you. The extremists will hate you.
Yeah, I'm still stuck on the whole gay men liking Lady Gaga. I'm like, that's a thing. I thought everyone
Yeah, it's
liked
a
Lady
thing.
Gaga. Yeah, no, that's news to me.
No, dude,
Like that
those modern SJWs will go after everyone. There will be no one left.
Oh,
but
yeah,
the thing is that they're like a cult at the end of the day. That's why they go after everyone.
Yep. Like they will go after. Like you could be the most milquetoast fence sitter. Like you could be
Like
a
Tim Pool.
Yeah, and they will still go after you. Like they will swat you if they can.
No, but Nathan, you said you're like, center right?
Yeah, and if I had it my way, I wouldn't be anything. I'd be the guy who says "f you" to everyone.
Oh, okay, like me. Well, Nathan, the thing is, dude, is that, and from my perspective, dude, they hate you and me more than anyone else. These extremists, because they can't convince you to join their side, and they can't find a justified reason to hate you and me because we're not their enemy. So it's like people in the middle or people who aren't a part of it, period, they will always hate.
Yeah, that's not that surprising. Like, they would hate me right away because these are people who hate straight white men. So they already hate me. The fact I won't join them is like double reason to hate me.
Dude, I thought I had some leeway, but then I read that fucking progressive article. Black men are the white people of black people. When I saw that, I was like, okay, wow,
Oh my
okay.
guy, we also in the same boat. Gay men are the straight white men of the alphabet community.
Yeah, I just hear that and think to myself, how do you undermine your own cause this bad?
No, like they're gonna keep fucking digging. They're gonna keep digging until there's no one left. Right now, they're at women. They're at female minorities. They went after men. They went after women. Now they're on female minorities. Once they get at female minorities, I don't know what's gonna be left.
And I'm loving every second of it because I'm like, these are like the wokies who ruin entertainment. It's like you piss off fandom after fandom. At some point, enough fandoms are going to make enough noise to where you'll have a guillotine scene out in your front yard. You'll be like Jeff Bezos, basically. It's going to happen to him a second time, essentially.
Yeah, no. That's the thing at the end of the day. When it comes to these people that end up getting attacked by the SJWs, they fucking deserve it. I hate to say it, but they deserve it. Because when people warn them saying, hey, listen, you shouldn't be supporting this. This isn't right. You're being inconsistent. Like, I remember I was on Grindr back in 2018. And I was talking to this guy. We went to the same university, but he graduated a few years before me. And I was talking to him, and we were having a conversation. And somehow we came up to something about, I don't know, gay rights or something. And he was like, he doesn't believe that straight people should be allowed at gay clubs or at Pride. And I'm like, that doesn't make sense. You fought to be included. Why do you want to exclude people suddenly? And he couldn't give me an answer. He really couldn't give me a single answer whatsoever on why we should be doing that. And you can't do this because then you're being a hypocrite, because you can't ask people, you can't protest to be included. And then when you included, you're like, oh, you know what, we're going to now be the people that are going to exclude, because eventually the pendulum is going to swing and you're going to find yourself back where you started.
Yeah, it all comes full circle, Troubled. It's like I said, it's the duality.
Yeah, and then basically he got so angry at me that he stopped speaking to me, because I'm like, hey, listen, you know what, you're a hypocrite. And when the pendulum swings and you don't like what happens, please come and tell me so I can tell you I told you so. Because one thing I noticed is that a lot of gay people, not even gay people, a lot of alphabet people, so we can include every single person under the sun in this, is that they're very hypocritical. And another thing is, I even done this when I was younger, but I wasn't as extreme as these people. I would always get so touched the moment someone was like, said something about gay people. I was like, huh? What are you saying? Did you mention the gay people? That's how I used to be when I was younger. And eventually it's like, you know what, this is a bit like, you know what, I'm in the wrong, because I can't always assume that someone has a certain intention when they say something. It's like, I don't know the intention. And that's why, for example, if someone were to ask me, it's like, when did you decide to become gay? Now, obviously, I hate that question, because if I could decide to become anything, I would decide to become straight. But then I remember how modern women are, and I'm like, maybe I'm better off being gay. But when they ask that question, I'll answer them and be like, hey, you know what, I didn't choose this. But I can understand like why you asking that question. Like, I don't get offended when people ask me certain questions. But when I was younger, I used to get so offended, being like, oh my God, why are you asking this? It's none of your business. And it's just like, people are gonna ask questions. Not everyone is gonna live by your standards and stuff like that. So like I go out of like the initial phase of the SJW mindset. But a lot of these other people, they just don't grow out of it, and they keep just going down the slope. And the reason why is because they make use of identity politics. And identity politics does is it takes ideas from everything. Because, for example, you'll have the feminists and the LGBT standing with the Palestinians, and I'm like, guys, the Palestinians would love to throw you off buildings.
Yeah, it's what they're known for. I'm pretty sure the terrorists attacked us for having an embassy and a bunch of other shit.
Yep.
And yeah, it is funny. Like, I do see like these progressives standing by the same people who throw gay men off a roof, and I'm thinking, okay, I think Alistair, I forget the comedian's name, but he said, okay, progressives, you can be one of two things. You can either be homophobic or Islamophobic. You can't be both. And then I think Constantine said, personally, I think we should be both.
That was hilarious.
Yeah, no, be both. Like, I'm sorry to say this, and I hate it, but if it's a Muslim from the Middle East, I don't want them in the West.
No, I'm like, look, you can't have this hypocrisy. If you could acknowledge that the minority cultures that you praise are not as progressive as you, then you can also acknowledge that people in your own camp will not always be as progressive as you. And you shouldn't have a reason to just hate them all the time. But, they can't be consistent.
Yeah, no, because consistency means having principles. And if you have principles, you're supposed to think critically about something, and you're supposed to be able to judge something objectively. And so they can't, for me, for example, I can't see, if I'm a supporter of feminism, I'm sorry, I can't be supporting Palestine in any capacity, because it's like we have antithetical beliefs to each other. So I can't be like, oh, I stand with the Palestinians, but then I'm like, okay, the Palestinians hate that I'm gay. They hate women, so I can't stand with them. It's a very simple thing, but these people at the end of the day, they can't understand the fact that, you know what, there's just some people you won't be able to agree with when it comes to certain things. Like, not, and it comes from the idea where they're like, oh, all cultures are equal. It's like, no, some cultures are better than other cultures.
Yeah, some cultures have a wheel, some don't.
Like in Africa, before it got colonized, they had mud huts. Everyone else had ships.
Yeah, I have to imagine when the first whites got there, they were like, "Are these ghosts or gods?" Like, they must have thought we were ghosts.
I'm sorry. What you say, Nathan?
I said the first whites that got to Africa, the Africans probably thought, "Are these ghosts or gods?"
That's pretty funny.
The interesting thing is that the Africans actually had encounters first with the Portuguese and Arabs, because that's how the black slave trade started.
Yeah, and they also I think they snipped the men who were African. I always found that fucked up.
Yeah, no, it was the Muslims. The Muslims were like, we don't believe that the blacks are worthy of reproduction, and so we will castrate the men.
Well, damn.
Yeah, they were fun.
Yep.
And
but the funny thing, the black people are so supportive of the Muslims, and I'm like, guys, if you only knew.
Yes. it'd be like if you
Tribalism.
it'd be like if you saw a gay guy and a Muslim gang like in the same rally. I'm like, you are two groups that hate each other, or at the very least, one hates the other more than the other, and you're working together. I've seen the situation, gays. It doesn't end well. Like, I think in India, like when they kicked the British out, the Pakistanis and the Indian people, they worked together for a while. The second the British were gone, they turned on each other real fast.
Oh, but that's always the case. It's like that's why I hate the idea of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. It's like, as soon as that enemy is gone, you guys are back to square one.
Yeah, I'm not square one, square zero. Huh, 220. But yeah, that is funny to me. Like, you come together, and then the second that common denominator is gone, you're back to one to slit each other's throats. The history of humanity, everyone. It's disappointing.
But that's usually when I say to people, it's like, hey, listen, if you're going to work with your enemy, it's fine. Just make sure you're the first to betray them, and you're not the first.
Yeah, it's like I forget who they based the Goodfellas on, but he was basically like, "No, motherfucker, I got you first. You didn't get me, I got you." That's how you should be looking at it. It's like it's not a question of who can betray who first. It's more of a question of who outplays the other one first.
Yep.
And by the way, at any time you want to quit this, it's fine. Just let me know and I'll end it.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, this is like a test thing. So actually,
No, it's fine.
Yeah, let me check one thing real quick. Oh, okay, never mind. I thought I could edit the title. Never mind, I can't. But what was I going to say? Yeah, it is funny though. Like tribalism is very funny. It's just like a circus.
Except there are no clowns because they get killed.
No, there are clowns. The clowns. Who do you think are roaming the streets, burning shit down? The clowns.
Yeah, the clowns are usually the poor people. I mean, well, the people who don't have jobs. Yeah, the dark history behind clowns. The clown caricature originated from people who couldn't find work and lived on the streets and had dirty clothes.
Wait, so would the SJWs be clowns?
I'm sorry, what did you say, Troubled?
No, I'm saying, so would that make the SJWs like the modern clowns?
In a sense. I mean, well, the ones that aren't, doing so well right now in terms of money and living.
But the thing is, even if they have money, they'll still look dirty.
I guess. No, but that's like, that's where the caricature originated from because, homeless people, then that's where the term clown came from because your average person would make fun of these people who couldn't find work, eons ago. But eventually, clowns formed into street performers and, people that would come and entertain kids and come to parties and, eventually clowns evolved into what we know them as today.
So basically clowns are like, oh, you know what, we're gonna make something of ourselves. Even though we're unemployed, we will do something with ourselves.
Yeah, I mean the whole point of clowns is that you failed and now you have nothing. I mean that's like, well, that's what it used to be. I don't think it's that way anymore.
Yeah, they're failures. Still better than SJWs. SJWs are worse than failures.
I was going to say,
some clowns were genuine, hardworking people who couldn't make it in the workforce or couldn't find any place to work.
On the matter of like homeless people, did you see what LA wants to do? They want people to vote on a bill that will basically force hotels to take in the homeless.
Of course they are.
I mean, you could always, build hotels for the homeless. I don't know.
But this is the funny thing. whenever the state or an organization wants to build affordable housing, do you know who are the people that oppose it?
Democrats.
The people.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Okay.
Because they don't want affordable housing near their communities because it will bring down their property value.
Wow. Honestly, you know what? Instead, helping homeless people shouldn't even be a fucking political thing. I feel like it should just be a civil service. It's not something that you should be told to do, but it should be something that's like, okay, if you help a homeless person, you're helping your fellow man on some level.
Ayn Rand was usually like, hey, listen, if you want to help the homeless people, fine, but don't do it through the government, like start charity organizations or something.
Yeah, you know what? I could see that honestly. I mean, wouldn't you rather trust yourself instead of like government institutions?
And
Yeah,
also, it's like if government is gonna do it, then I'm gonna get taxed more, and I like my money.
This is what I know it comes out of left field, but this is what I hate about modern SGWs. They say all Batman has to do is give his billions of dollars to like criminals and thieves across the sea, and that way he'll solve all the problems in Gotham City. And I'm like, well, there's three things for why this is complete bullshit. First of all, if you're a Batman fan, comics, movies, shows, games, whatever, you know all Bruce Wayne does is give to charities and programs and social reforms. He always does that shit. Second of
Because
all, a good
that's what his
chunk of
parents done.
a good chunk of his villains are not poor. I'm not saying all of them are rich, but a good chunk of them are not poor. They don't need money. And third of all, Batman has learned himself that throwing money at government institutions and everyday social reforms does not solve the problem in the long run. In the end, Gotham City is the way it is because people choose to do bad things.
But the thing is, we expecting people to think critically. That's where we mess up. Is that we expect people to think. That is the
Yeah.
problem. And because that was my thing, it's that I remember, like, because I remember whenever like I watched the Batman shows, play the video games, hate the Arkham series. I know that that sounds like a hot take, but I hate that video game series. It didn't do anything. It kind of led to some of the worst trends in video gaming.
Wait,
yeah,
you
like
hate the
Slutty
Arkham
Harley.
games? You hate the Arkham games? That's quite a take. Wow, that is a take right there.
No, no. The reason I hate the games is first of all the gameplay isn't amazing. It's like, oh look, guys, it's the most basic things you'd ever do in a video game. Like this is the thing, like the Arkham games introduced the idea of the auto combo because like literally you just had to tap the button as you play in the games to do attacks. It wasn't like, oh, let me think about what I'm doing. Then it's also the fucking detective mode. I hate that so much in a game. It's like, can you not at least let me find some clues as I investigate the scene? Let me turn on my Witcher sense. Let me use my, what do they call it in Horizon Zero Dawn? What do they call it? It's also mode where you can basically see everything. It's like, wow, this is so amazing.
Uh,
Like those are things but like I remember like when I play the games and watch the films, like like Bruce would mention, oh, my parents did so much charity work. I'm also gonna do the same work. And this is the one thing a lot of these people that want to throw money at problems don't understand is that people make choices. You're not going to be able to save everybody. And that's like, for example, the reason why I hate this idea of everyone saying, "Oh no, let's just throw money at student debt because that's gonna solve the problem." But no one asks themselves, okay, how exactly did universities get so expensive? Well, let's see. The universities at the end of the day realized that, you know what, people want to come and study. We can take them for all of their money because we can charge whatever we want to because everyone wants to get in to come and study at university. Then the universities also charge not only for the courses, they charge for accommodation, they charge for resources, they charge in every single thing. Then they receive government subsidies. Then they also receive generous donations from donors. donors who actually just donate for the sake of donating, or they donating to pay for their children that are failing classes. And we saw this back in like I think 2019. And so it's like this universities get all this money from somewhere. Then you ask yourself, okay, how do these students end up getting into debt and not being able to pay it? Well, they go and study in field for subjects for fields that are bloated. Like there's way too many doctors, there's way too many lawyers. You have them studying degrees that aren't going to get them jobs, and it's like, okay, so we're going to throw money at people that made poor decisions, and we're like, oh, you know what, we're not going to end up in debt. We're not going to end up with another student debt situation because we paid off for the first time. It's like no one looks at how did the situation happen in the first place. It's always like, let's just throw money at this and it'll solve itself.
Yep, it's a goat fuck. Okay. I can check that. And yeah, I've never understood why universities.
I think he muted himself, but
oh, he might have had to step away for a second.
Hmm?
He might have had to step away for a second
Yeah.
to do something. He does this sometimes, but yeah, I never understood why universities have to have debts because now they're useless. I think.
Yeah, no, they are useless because the thing is, at the end of the day, the thing is, universities are useless at this point because if we really sit and look at it and we really want to talk about it, universities are very, very useless. And they're useless in the sense that they don't offer anything to students anymore. Because now what universities have become, but they always become this at the end of the day, is that they've become ideological hotbeds. So they indoctrinate students because this is the thing. It's the same thing that happened in communist countries. The universities would promote the ideology, and that's what's happening in the US right now. But the main reason why the university is so useless is because when university started out, it was something for professionals. It was mainly for doctors, lawyers, etc. So you wanted to go into a profession. But eventually, what happened is that you ended up in a situation where the university would now become the determining factor.
Sorry, guys, connection issue. I'm back.
Oh no, I suspected.
Yeah.
I was saying what happens. Like university started off as being for profession, and then what happened was the universities saw and the governments even they saw like, oh, you know what you could do? You can now turn this entire thing into a way to make sure you get money because everything you need a license for. If you want to be a carpenter, you need a license. If you want to work in construction, you need a license. Everything needs a license. You must have the license. And that's what universities have basically become. They've become the license. But the thing is, it's like not all licenses are valid. Like, for example, you can go to university and study to become a master of lesbian dance theory. What the fuck is lesbian dance theory, and how the hell are you going to get a job with that?
That still doesn't sound as weird as like gender studies. That sounds even weirder.
Yeah, no, that's weirder than gender studies. But the thing at the end of the day, it's that the universities don't offer anything of quality anymore. It's because they don't have to. They don't have to worry about if they're going to make money or not because they know there's people that literally look at university as a place that decides whether or not you're going to get a job. Like I can tell you, I know so much people that thought like, oh, if they go to university, they're going to be guaranteed a job. And it's like, yeah, no, you going to university doesn't guarantee you a job.
That's why when my friends ask me, I'm currently in college, I'm like, I learned somewhere in high school that if you really want to start working or if you really want to have a job, you have to start while you're in school. Because often a lot of people I know who already went through the school program, like all 9 yards, find themselves without a job after they graduate from college because they didn't start working when they were in school.
Really do you even know? And you know the reason why you need to work while you're in school? It's not because you need to do it. It's because of minimum wage. Because the problem with minimum wage at the end of the day is that it forces businesses to look for people with experience in order to justify paying them. Because a minimum wage of like, let's say $15, like someone with no experience flipping burgers, for example, that doesn't make sense to be paying them $15 an hour. that's that kind of money you need to pay someone with experience. And this is the reason why at the end of the day, like when you applying for a job, they'll ask you to be like, oh, have 3 years experience, have 5 years experience. It's because the pay they are forced to give you is the pay they have to give someone with experience. Now the thing is, if you got rid of if you got rid of minimum wage laws, I can tell you every single American will have a job if you get rid of minimum wage. Because no, that's the thing. Because for example, not like this thing, like for example, if they want to pay someone to work at the company, because this is what happens with minimum wage, for example, is that at a company they now need to get rid of certain people and they now give more jobs to the people that work there in order for them to still like make a profit. So now if you got rid of the minimum wage, you could actually take some of the jobs away from other positions and give it to people that would be starting out in the company. Because the thing is, for example, like I can't think of what job is this, but I know someone, like it even happens here in South Africa. Like this one person does 2 jobs instead of the one job they're supposed to, and the reason for that is because they can't employ more people because they need to meet like the minimum wage payments.
Interesting.
And that's also when people say, oh, we want more minimum wage. I'm like, guys, you're putting people out of work. Because, for example, the teenager that wants to go and work, they won't be able to find jobs because the restaurant has to pay you X amount of money. Because, like, let's say you want to go work part time. Like, even if you work part time, there's minimum wage for that. So they can't employ you even if you want to work part time.
Ugh.
Ugh.
Yep. Like the world is, well, not fucked, but it's not looking good.
It's not that. It's a fact that people are a bit too emotional. Because the thing is, the reason why.
Man, don't be a Debbie Downer.
Dan, how long have you known me?
Fair enough.
The thing is, at the end of the day, the problem comes in at the end of the day because a lot of people a lot of people just think emotionally. The reason why people are like, oh, for example, when it comes to like abortion, for example, the reason why they say, oh, it's a woman's choice and a woman should do whatever she wants to with the body. It's not that they thought about this issue. It's because they're thinking emotionally. Because they're like, oh, you know what? If a woman doesn't want to have a child, it's okay. She can have an abortion. It's because they're thinking emotionally about it. But if they thought logically about it, they'd be like, yeah, no, she should be forced to have that child because who said she should have unprotected sex?
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, I just live. I'm just like live and let live. I guess we all make our own choices. What I can't stand though is the hypocrisy. Those people who like to talk about you should have the right you should have the right to choose what happens to your body, are the same people that are perfectly fine with mandatory vaccinations. It's like
The
no.
funny thing for me
like-
about that crowd is like
Yeah.
they bitched and like they did so many awful things to defend Roe versus Wade. Like I think they eventually they got to where they were fine where these judges and Supreme Court people lived and harassing them. I'm thinking to myself, what do you think they were going to do? They already weren't doing anything, and then you made them want to do something.
Oh, and the thing is, Brett Kavanaugh almost got assassinated during this thing.
Oh, there's also that.
And then Clarence Thomas got called the hard word, the.
Oh yeah, the hard R-N word. Like they stuck the landing with that one. You could practically hear a dismount. There were probably Klan members high-fiving in the background.
Yeah, that's what I can't take about these people. They're all progressive and they're not racist until they are. During a lot of those during a lot of those riots and protests that happened not too long ago, black police officers were assaulted and attacked like every other police officer when they were just trying to do their jobs. It's kind of funny.
But the thing is, they couldn't.
They got so out of control. They were like, I watched a recording. They were like, protesting on the streets. There were cars trying to drive by, and these cars were behind them, and the cars were trying to stay away and not hit them. They were trying to be careful where they were going, and like a couple of them started hitting the cars. I'm like, why are you attacking innocent people who are trying to hit you?
That's the thing. It's that these people look for any opportunity to be immoral, because as much as they want to put on this virtuous performance to showcase how virtuous they are the ugliest and vilest people you will ever come across in your life.
Yeah, they're kind of like Herb Sorrell in a way. Who like he did something similar to these riots, and it got so bad the police got involved, and they had to haul away a bunch of people to the hospital. Like it gets
Yeah.
like it can get worse.
Yeah, yeah, no,
Honestly,
because
these,
look
these
for example.
SJWs, these SJWs attacked Kevin Conroy for saying that he felt like, robbing and looting shouldn't happen. Like that riot shouldn't happen. He didn't mind the protest, but he didn't like the rioting or the looting. And they attacked him for that. And they were like, and they kept attacking him and saying, "Why are you saying this?" I was like, imagine telling Batman that robbing and stealing is okay, that property damage is okay. That'll never stop being funny.
No, the thing
No,
is, you need to understand it's the idea of repressive tolerance is basically where you need to accept every single thing that one side does, but condemn anything the other side does, even if it's not wrong. And that's basically what we saw. So when you criticize these people, you're not being tolerant. Because when you say the looting and property and the crime is wrong, you're basically saying everything they're doing is wrong. That's the reason why when you just stop being SJW for like a moment, they get so violent. It's because you're not just disagreeing with this thing, you're disagreeing with everything.
No, it's like Kevin Conroy on Twitter. If I remember, he agrees with like a lot. I shouldn't say all of, but a lot of like the social stuff they talk about. At least on some level, he seems to. But that one thing just led to them all jumping on him.
yeah, you deviate even the slightest of ways, there's a target on your back.
Yeah.
You might as well have that
And,
red.
and
And I feel bad because Kevin Conroy is a good dude. He's a nice guy.
Yeah, and a nerd.
Oh, fair enough.
but it's like that. What's that guy's name on Twitter? The one who he made the music for Jet Set Radio.
I'm not familiar.
Me,
He's a Japanese guy, but the thing is, what happened? I think it was during the time this other Japanese politician got assassinated in Japan, and he made a tweet, a poll, and he was like, "Do you think that people we disagree with should be murdered, like should be killed?" And every majority of the people that follow him are SJWs. Like they basically groomed this guy because he was trying to get in with the young people, and so they effectively groomed him. It's very unfortunate that a man in his 40s got groomed. um, yeah, yeah. And so basically, he was surprised by the results because majority of the people that follow him, like I said, are SJWs, and they were like, "Yes, people I disagree with should be murdered." And he was so shocked. But I'm like, my guy, this is the people that you've made your audience. Have you not seen their behavior? Have you not seen what they've said? Like, why are you surprised by them saying, yes, I think the people I disagree with should be murdered?
oh god, that must have been a kick to the nads. I'm like, and that's funny too because it's like this is basically like a guy who's used to being kicked in the nads, surprised when they kick him in the nads without even telling him they're going to do it.
No, what did that idiotic feminist comic book creator say? Everything is racist, everything is sexist, and you just have to point it all out.
That was
Oh
Anita
no,
Sarkeesian.
that's Anita Sarkeesian. She's not a comic book lady. She's the lady responsible for the death of gaming. That's how I see it.
Oh right, she's a part of the Gamergate thing, right? Well, she's not a
Yeah.
part of Gamergate, but she was a part of that controversy.
Yep, she involved herself. She faked a death threat against her. I wrote an article about this. I have the evidence. She faked it against her. Like the thing is, like she found this tweet that she wasn't tagged in. At the same and as soon as it was posted, immediately, not even like a few minutes later or something, immediately as it was posted, she spoke about it. It like, ooh, her story was just so it was obvious that she hoaxed. And this is the one thing. Zoe Quinn, Brianna Wu, or Brian Wu, because he's transgender, and Anita Sarkeesian, all three of them have fake death threats against themselves. All three of them created the controversy that they ended up being involved in. Like they are professional victims.
Yeah, they're snake oil salesmen.
And the unfortunate thing is that they were taken seriously by a lot of organizations. But the reason they got taken seriously by the mainstream media is because the mainstream media hates competition. A lot of the mainstream media knew that, you know what, video games is the next phase of entertainment. That's where majority of people were going, and they deliberately supported someone like Anita because they believed that she was gonna kill gaming. That's the reason they supported her, because they saw her as someone that could take down the gaming industry.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me. That would not surprise me. But no, yeah, and the funny thing is, like, what set the whole thing off, like a domino effect, was like one ugly hipster chick.
Honestly, Nathan, I'd argue that's giving hipsters a bad name.
Probably, but they deserve it.
Dude, she's just an SJW extremist. Like, I don't mind people being progressive or traditional, because I've dealt with all sorts of people with all sorts of beliefs, but it's usually the extremists that I can't stand. The people that it's either their way or no other way. You're either with me or you're my enemy. It's like that sort of shit.
Yeah, they're George Bush.
Yeah, no. But the thing is, I would add, like, you have extremists, and then you have the useful idiots.
Oh yeah, there is that too.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing is that the majority of people are useful idiots, and 2016 elections definitely showcased that, like how easily people not think for themselves.
Yeah, and yeah, it's just, but yeah, no, like, and here's the thing, Dan, I love making fun of hipsters, so I'm never going to stop saying that. Hipsters are the worst. They're the most annoying pricks under the sun.
I'll say this: I've known a lot of hipsters who are assholes, but I've also known some hipsters that are cool. So, like I said, it depends on the person. You know, it's like me doing all the research I have over the years, Nathan, has shown me that these labels don't mean much. It's like the power behind these labels is really what you give them. And I mean, for better or worse,
certain things. Like
I'm not even talking for just bad. No, for good too. It's like, when you really look at it, if you don't give labels or symbols power, they become meaningless. The whole reason why symbols and labels are powerful is usually because of what we put into them.
Yeah, and hipsters.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Yeah, hipsters used to be a good thing, but like, and I don't even hate all hipsters. It's just I've come to associate hipster with dilettantes.
Honestly, Nathan, dude, that's cool. I'm fine with you making fun of hipsters if we can make fun of everyone. Because when we can make fun of everyone, then it's all fair game. This is why I miss my era. My era is the early 2000s. In that era, we were so close that, for better or worse, we just, like, there was this, like, universal connection, and modern SJWs just destroyed it. They ruined it.
Yep.
But the thing is, you need to understand, like, the reason why that happened was because in the early 2000s, we had gotten to a point where all of the social problems were being solved. And that was the problem. Like, this is how communists operate, is that they need to justify their existence, why they're there, why you pay them, why you give them attention, why they're protesting. They need to validate what they're doing. And so you see, what they ended up doing was creating the problems that were already solved. They brought back racism, brought back sexism, because they were like, you know what, we need to bring back the problems that we solved. Like, you know what, we made the world too good of a place. We need to fuck shit up because, you know, we need to get our money. We need to be relevant. For example, if you look at it, yeah, because look at it. there was a point where men and women were equal with each other. Yeah, the double standards were still there. Women were treated better than men, but it wasn't so prevalent. Like you wouldn't notice it as soon as you like step outside. And but this is the thing: the women were like, "No, we still want more." The activist organizations were like, "We still want money." The politicians were like, "We still need to get votes." So all three of these groups worked together, knowingly, unknowingly, to create the problems that we're sitting with now. Like, for example, the reason why men don't want to interact with women because they're fearful of false accusations is due to the fact that the politicians and the activist organizations have changed the definition of what constitutes rape, sexual harassment, and sexual assault so much that even looking at a woman now is considered sexual harassment.
Oh yeah, you look
and thanks to that, now you have crazy feminists and female celebrities saying, if basically ranting about not about people not asking them out and taking them out on dates. It's hilarious.
Yeah, did I
Yeah,
say
because
you got what you deserved?
that's the thing at the end of the day. People, that's the thing. I don't believe in category rights. I believe in individual rights, and individual rights is basically, and this is something Ayn Rand talks about, is that individual rights is basically this: you have the right to life, you have the right to property, and you have the right to freedom of speech and freedom of movement. And how you determine these rights and also the limitations of them is basically this: is that what you do for yourself you can do unto other people so long as it doesn't harm them. So for example, if I believe in charity because I want charity, I'll be charitable to other people. And so the thing is with category rights is that you say to this group, okay, you have these specific rights for you, and what that creates is it creates a power imbalance because now you've created category rights for this one group, and this one group can abuse their rights, and we've seen that happen. And so what ends up happening is that you have a group that wants power and privilege, but doesn't think of what they want as power and privilege. And so what eventually ends up happening is that these groups get what they want, but the outcome isn't what they expected, because eventually what happens is people now get tired of interacting with you. People don't want to deal with you. And so eventually you're left with no one wanting anything to do with you once you've achieved your goal. And that's why, for example, you can see men are less interested in interacting with women, not because they're suddenly gay or asexual. It's because they're like, I'm not going to risk anything just for simply saying hello to you. It's the same reason why there's less and less tolerance for gay people, for the LGBT, because people are like, hey, listen, we try to be accepting of you, we try to be tolerant of you, but you just weren't satisfied, so we're gonna rather just be what you said we are, and be homophobic and all of that.
Yeah, which sucks, but yeah, take more than you're being given. I don't know, you bite off more than you can chew. It comes back to bite you in the ass.
Yeah, no, it's honestly, it's just plain selfishness. It's like people just want more and more and more, and they'll never be satisfied.
Yeah, it's like George Collins said. They're like the baby boomers. Give me it, it's mine. Give me it.
I love that. But honestly, it's also like you're just it's like what George Lucas said. It's like you just keep cheat. You just want pleasure. You keep trying to pleasure yourself. Don't turn that into a dumb joke, Nathan. You keep trying to
Darn
find
it.
pleasure. Keep trying to find pleasure. You don't give a shit about joy, just pleasure, and you keep chasing it, and then eventually you're going to find yourself miserable because you can never find. Eventually, you're going to hit a limit. You can never actually be fully satisfied with just getting shit. And that's what a lot of modern SJWs don't understand. It's like we're far from the worst types of discrimination in the world. Like history wise, yeah, we still have issues, but we're far from the worst of the worst. They're not happy. It's like they can't even appreciate that. It's not even the fact that it's not even trying to say that they should just like how things are and they shouldn't want anything to be better. It's the fact that in their minds, this is just as bad as before. It's like they don't realize how great things are right now compared to back then.
Yeah, no, and but the thing is, some of them are aware of that, but this is the thing: it's that they want purpose, and the thing is, they don't know how to create a purpose for themselves
Oh,
because
good
it's
point.
scary. Because Yeah, because that's the thing for me. For example, me personally, the reason why I am so capable of not being left leaning or right leaning and stuff is because I've managed to create a purpose for myself. My thing is, you know what? I want to create stuff. I want to make video games. I want to write novels. I want to write scripts. That's my purpose for myself. The thing is, for most people, they don't want to find a purpose for themselves because it requires a lot of work. It requires you to understand yourself. It requires you to challenge yourself, and it requires a lot of effort from you. And these people, they don't want to put in effort into anything. They want the easy route. Now, the easy route is fighting for a social cause, quote unquote, because they're constantly fighting for something. The goalposts are ever shifting. Because the thing is, at the end of the day, if they ever stop being a social justice warrior or progressive, their world is going to be destroyed and they're going to have nothing to live for because it's a performance for them. And for as long as the show goes on, they will be satisfied. That's why often you'll see they achieve, like, for example, they've achieved the representation, that the diversity they want in shows, but they still complain, like, oh, there's not enough of these kind of shows. There's not enough women here. There's not enough blacks here. Because the thing is, if the show stops, they have to deal with the reality that they've led and lived meaningless lives, and they've not done anything of significance that they can feel happy about.
Hmm. Yeah, it is kind of shallow. They're kind of like the normies. They're the last man that Nietzsche warned us about. Like they have hollow lives, and they just seek for endless pleasure, and they tear everyone else down.
Yeah, I feel sympathy for normies, Nathan. I used to be one of them when I was really young. I saw things. I wanted to be a part of it. I study. The difference is, unlike a lot of normies today, I studied it. I researched it. I tried to understand it. Sure, I had my opinions. I always will. But I never let my opinions get in the way of learning and gaining knowledge and information about things.
I
Oh,
will forever hate normies. I will forever hate casuals, and I will forever hate professionals.
Oh wow, okay, so you would have hated me years ago.
No, the thing is, it depends. Like, were you the normie that if, like, for example, you watch a Marvel film and you think the comics are like that?
I was the kind of normie. I maybe I was like the standard. I don't know, normal or the normie back. The normies back then were those who thought something was cool and they wanted to know everything about it. I was one of those normies. When I found
Oh
something cool,
no,
I wanted to learn
you were.
everything about it, and I did. Or well,
The
not
thing is, you
everything.
were
But I learned a lot.
you were an exception. Most normies don't think like that. Most normies see something cool and they popularity parasites.
Oh, bless
excuse
you. Bless you.
me.
No, no. I had
Bless you.
friends. I had friends of mine who were also normies when they were really young too. But some of them, not all of them, some of them would want to change, would want to change the way things worked with what we were getting invested in. I was like, well, no, I know. It's like now that I'm learning how things work, it makes no sense to break things because then it's going to lose its special value. They didn't care, so they did what they wanted, and they ended
And
up
then
ruining
those
the experience for everyone.
and then those are the normies I hate, and those are the majority of normies, unfortunately. Like, for example, with anime. And I even hate VTubers for this, because you can have VTubers who make their career off of anime saying, like, oh, anime was a mistake. I'm like, you do know you wouldn't be in this position if it wasn't for anime, so please keep quiet.
I can't take, like, okay, look, if some people have legitimate criticisms for why they don't like anime, I can respect that. But I feel like a lot of anime hate is just like the current trend. It's the current trend to just kick on something that's popular. It's like, look, it's just that's just popular to just hate things that the majority likes. It's controversial, but it gets a lot of attention. It's just popular. So when I see a lot of people that say they hate anime, their reasons 9 times out of 10 don't feel legitimate. They just feel like personal feelings, which is fine on some level. It's fine if you're just saying you have your opinion. But then to me, it's unfair when you're just hating on it and people and you just wish it didn't exist. And You're saying that you're just mocking people for liking it. Like that's a level that's just horrible.
Yeah, no, those are the two types of hate. So you have the people who hate anime just because it's popular to hate it, and then you have the people who hate it because they don't understand it. For example, like with itchy, like fan service. Now, fan service basically means something that the fans will enjoy. So fan service in Dragon Ball Z is the fights. That's literally
Oh
it.
yeah.
That that's the fan service. But now most people that come into anime, they see the panty shots and the boobs as fan service, and it's like, okay, you don't understand what fan service is, but it makes sense. You're not a fan. And if it's not complaining about like what makes anime anime, so anime is known for its fan service. Anime is known for doing the bizarre and set and being able to cater to everyone. Like for example, like Lolicon and Shotacon. But this is one thing I do find very funny is that barely anyone complains about Shotacon, but oh my god, every single person complains about Lolicon. I'm like, listen, guys, we should be if you have issue with the one instance, you should have issue with every instance. And so a lot of people that hate on anime outside of like just to hate it, they're like, oh my god, anime is so perverted, anime is pedophilic, and na 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 na. And I'm like, guys, but this is how anime is. Because at the end of the day, it caters to everyone, and the fact is, at the end of the day, it's fiction. It doesn't matter what gets depicted; it's fiction. Because, for example, when it came to something like Berserk, because after the author died, a lot of people were sharing around the images, and people like, oh my god, Berserk is so disgusting. It's against women because there were graphic scenes of women's bodies being mutilated or raped. But then they had nothing to say about the main protagonist being a victim of rape. It's like, oh, if it happens to men, it's completely fine. But if it happens to women, suddenly we need to get rid of all media. And for me, it's like when I look at these people, and this is why I call them popularity parasites, because these people only engage with anime because it's popular, but because they don't like what anime actually is, they suddenly have an issue because they like, oh my god, anime shouldn't be doing this, anime shouldn't be doing that. Like, listen, anime was like this before you came along, and you don't even understand why anime is like this. For example, the reason why you have lolicon and why you have even like tentacles in anime is because they had to work around censorship. Because when the Europeans came to Japan, they were very shocked by what they found. Because the women would walk around with their breast out. Like Japan was very like Japan was a was a deviant nation before the Europeans came, and in order to accommodate the Europeans, the Chinese emperor was like, okay, guys, we need to change what we do. And so there were also like censorship laws and all of that stuff. So, for example, in anime, the reason why, if you like read some like anime, if you watch Japanese porn, if you look at hentai and stuff, like the best parts are pixelated because the Europeans found those things very problematic, and that's the reason why you have tentacles, because tentacles act as the penis. That's why you have tentacles, because they wanted to work around censorship of like the pixelation and stuff. And so they're like, okay, you know what, we're going to do tentacles because tentacles aren't exactly penis. And then, for example, there was this other weird law on like pubic hair. I don't know what exactly it was, but that whole thing on pubic hair is the reason why we have lolicons. So shotacons was because they wanted to work around like, oh no, you had to if you depicted a character in you couldn't depict a character in the nude if they had like pubic hair or facial hair and stuff like that. That's why you often notice you'll hardly come across like any hentai and stuff with bearded men. And that's basically how Lolicon and Shotacon came about. It was basically a reaction to censorship.
Huh. Wasn't aware of that. Yeah. Hey guys, I'm sorry to do this, but I think I might have to end it here. Is that okay with y'all?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Oh yeah, sure, man. Yeah, this is your own time.
Oh no, but I actually was having fun talking to y'all though. So
Oh yeah, sure,
enjoyable.
definitely, dude.
all right, so yeah, it was good having y'all on here. I think I might do one of these again at some point. I just have to make a. I think I might just try to make a list of things to talk about from now on because, like, I hate leaving things to chance when it's just random. And
Yeah, that's not an issue. Oh, Nathan, I'm thinking of developing a watch. I'm thinking of developing another watch party soon. Do you want to watch Ghostbusters? Because you said you haven't seen it in a long time.
Yeah, I watched a little bit
Which
of it.
Ghostbusters?
The first
first
one,
one.
1984.
Oh,
Yeah, no, not the 2016 one. They wouldn't. They
Dude,
would.
do you think I'm high? I'm not showing that abomination. I'm not showing that piece of crap. Honestly, I can't even. I've only seen that movie once, and after that, I can never watch it again, unless I'm on a substance.
Oh God.
And I don't, and I don't really do that stuff. I don't take substances, so that should tell you something.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be on board for that.
All right, I just got to figure out a day. Oh,
All
Trouble Cat, you want to join too?
Yeah, no, I like being included in as much things as possible.
All right, yeah, cool, yeah, definitely. You're on Twitter, right?
Yes, I am. I will give you my handle because the thing is,
Okay.
I'm trying not to be known that I'm back on Twitter.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not gonna
I,
I'm
yeah, I
not
think I
gonna
sent
drag
it to
any
you already.
attention.
Yeah, I think I sent it to you before. Remember yesterday?
Oh, that's who you were talking about.
Yeah, this guy.
That's who you. What the fuck, dude? You
It's
see, when I don't pay
me.
attention, I forget things or I don't notice them completely. No, never
Wait,
mind.
what?
I have your tag. Nathan sent it to me.
Uh,
Yeah.
wait, no, but I am a bit curious now. Like the way you say it's like, oh, it's that guy. What did Nathan exactly say for you to be like, oh, it's him?
No, it's okay, so normally I'm hyper observant, meaning that I can pay attention to things very closely and know it and remember things exactly the way they are because I'm a visual learner. But the
Uh-huh.
flaw is if I'm not too interested in something, I'm not gonna pay that much attention. So
Uh-huh.
Nathan told me that someone named Chat Cat he was waiting for someone like he was waiting to talk to someone like that. I was like, all right, I could add them onto our Twitter space and you could talk to them if they show up. But I wasn't really paying attention. I just did it. So
I see.
yeah. But now that Nathan told me that that's you, okay, it all makes sense. You're the person he was talking about.
Yes, I I am that person.
Yeah. You don't seem your messages seems to be I'll just send you a link to a Discord server the regular way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh wait, I talk about my DMs. Are they not open?
Yeah, they're not open. It's not an issue
Oh,
though.
but the thing is, I clicked on that option. It probably didn't save.
Dude, Twitter is a fucking mess. Honestly.
Yep.
I feel bad for people that have to deal with the bullshit of Twitter.
Not even that. I'm still curious about what's gonna happen with the whole Elon Musk situation because someone leaked information that the number of bots on Twitter are actually it's actually more than like 20%, I think.
Look, the way I see it, either Elon Musk doesn't buy it, which proves that Twitter has legitimate fucking problems, or he does buy it and the SJWs lose because they can't control it anymore. It's a win-win scenario.
Oh yeah,
In
no,
my,
absolutely.
in my
Because yeah, because the thing is, if he loses, with all the information that's out, Twitter is gonna go bankrupt. And the thing is, if he does get it, because they actually are suing him to buy Twitter now, because if he loses this lawsuit, he has to buy Twitter.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we'll just have to see what happens.
Nathan, if Elon Musk buys Twitter, I don't know, I'm gonna find where he lives. I'm gonna have a long wish list for all the stuff that Twitter should change.
Yeah, make sure an edit button's at the top of that list.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
edit
like
buttons, no more limitations. I know they're called tweets, but I'm tired of threads.
oh my God, I hate doing trades myself because it's like, okay, did I say this? Did I put this trade in the right place?
And what usually sucks, Troubled Cat, is that often it doesn't matter because angry people don't give a shit. They're just gonna comment through your thread without reading everything.
Yep.
Oh no, trust me. When I done the Bayonetta video and the Bridget video, like literally no one went through the threads that I made like for the videos or like when I spoke about it. So for like example with the Bayonetta thing, I was like, listen, it's a game meant for adults. Why would adults not want to see tits? And I'm like, if you're an adult, you should know what content you like and what content you don't like.
Yeah.
Then, but everyone was like, what if I get embarrassed by people seeing me play the game? Then I'm like, okay, why are you so concerned about people caring what you do? You adult.
Yep. All right. Well, it's been fun, guys. Y'all have a good one.
Oh yeah,
You
yeah,
too.
sure, definitely, man.
Mm-hmm.
Bye.
Later.
See ya.